araw, edukasyo'y susulong. Kaya, halika na, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhang bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela.
Handog ng DepEd Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya!
Let's go!
Radyo Z-Eskwela Executive and Technical Working Committee. The School's Division Superintendent, Eufemia T. Gamutin Seso 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romel R. Handayan. Curriculum Implementation Division OIC Chief, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Program Director, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. Assistant Program Director, Noemi P. Canales. Members, Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opena, Dr. Eldecris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Sikinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Dr. Renato N. Pakpakin, Dr. Andy P. Cabodok, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangit, Ryan Villanueva, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Daylan S. Milabat, Medard D. Apit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Production and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judiland T. Yu, Donna D. T. Bolifer, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen C. Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banyes. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Lanara, Joan T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acosar Jr., May B. Istaniol, Richard H. Arellano, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo C. Gutierrez Jr., Jade Karen R. Arais, Eliza May Garsuta, Sedi S. Caballero, and Jane S. Caballero. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here at Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
One station, all the hits.
Z Radio 88.5.
Pre, unsa din ang 88.5?
Z Radio
Unsa man po ng Z Radio?
88.5.
Ah, kuyawa, oy!
Ma 88.5 o Z Radio man, kamo na minaw sa Ziguradong Lingaw, Ziguradong Kuyaw, Z Radio 88.5.
Adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong kuyaw. Para sa Bulawan na probinsya, Z Radio. Sa Bulawan na pagsibya, Z Radio.
Kazi, usa ka ba ka teki? Pindot dire, pindot dito. Ang inyong bagong Z Radio may application na. Mag-download sa Android App Store ug Z Radio application aron masking asa ka man mo adto, Luzon, Visayas ug Mindanao ug masking naka sa Zimbabwe. Makapaminaw ka sa Siguradong Lingaw, Siguradong Kuyaw, Z Radio 88.5.
Sa Bulawan na pagsibya, Z Radio.
Z Radio 88.5.
Sa
Today's reflection. Ezekiel chapter 22 verse 14. Can your heart endure, or can your hands be strong in the days that I will deal with you? I, the Lord, have spoken and will act. When God warned Noah of his coming judgments and told him to build an ark, Noah was moved with fear. Even bold, courageous David said, "My flesh trembles for fear of you." And when the prophet Habakkuk saw disastrous days ahead, he cried out, "When I heard, my body trembled, my lips quivered at the voice. Rottenness entered my bones, and I trembled in myself."
The fear that came upon these godly men was not a fleshly fear, but a reverential awe of the Lord. These saints were not afraid of the enemy of their souls, but they did fear God's righteousness judgments. And that is because they understood the awesome power behind the approaching calamities. They did not fear the outcome of the storm, but rather God's holiness.
Likewise, each of us will experience overwhelming fear in the coming times of destruction and disaster. But our fear must come from a holy reverence for the Lord, and never from a fleshly anxiety about our fate. God despises all sinful fear in us. The fear of losing material things, wealth, our standard of living.
All over the world, people are filled with this kind of fear as they see their nation's economies deteriorating. They are afraid an economic flood will sweep away everything they have labored throughout their lifetime. Such is the cry of unbelievers who have no hope. It ought not to be the cry of the godly. Indeed, if you are a child of God, your heavenly Father will not endure such unbelief in you.
Let God be your fear and awe. That kind of fear leads not to death, but to life. Be greatly blessed.
Utang saan, may bulawang may pagluban. Yuta mong nagmadagayaon, mga anak mong mahigugmaon. Di paligong sa bayanihan, iumol sa panag-iusa. Sa timuang may mabeya at sa pagtinabang may kalang di ka sa magbubuhat. Davao de Oro, tuburan sa paglaho. Sa Davao inyong mauswagot. Ang kaanyag mo makabibihan, talag sa undas sa kahitasan. Kamukirang sa lumang ialimahan, bunga sa kalagayan. May bulawang may pagluban, yuta mong nagmadagayaon, mga anak mong mahigugmaon. Kipaligong sa bayanihan, iumol sa panag-iusa. Sa timumang may mabeya at sa pagtinabangan may kalang Davao naghiusang dabawenyo. Ang kaanyang makabibihan, talag sa unggas sa kahitasan. Kabukiran sa lumagi alimahan, bunga sa kadagayan.
Z Radio 88.5.
Madayaw Davao de Oro, good morning. Ani anapod kita ni ining atong tulumanon nga gihatod kaninyo sa DepEd Division of Davao de Oro, kauban ang ato ang sibiyahanang Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong Siguradong Lingaw,
Siguradong Kuya.
and welcome po sa ating programang Radyo Z-Eskwela.
Siguradong masaya.
Yes, today is May 20, 2021, adlang Webes mga kaigsuunan, usa na pod ka episode ang ato ang pagaubanan dinhi para ihatod kaninyo ang mga nag-unang lesson presentations, especially for our learning area to be featured today. We have Araling Panlipunan and TLE.
Good morning sa atong tigpaminaw din ha, ug tig subaybay din sa ato ang programa. Good morning, Sir Given.
Good morning, Nay.
I miss you for the past 2 days.
Yes.
Oo, pero laban lang. And good morning sa ato ang mga learners din ha, sa ato mga kaigsuunan din ha nga mga maestra nga nag-duty on-site. O din ha pod sa ato mga teachers working from home. Maayong buntag ka natong tanan.
Yes, once again, ubanin ninyo ang ato ang programa hantod alas 2 sa hapon. And rest assured nga ihatag gyud namo kaninyo ang kining mga bag-ong mga pagtulunan nga gigahinan gayud og oras sa ato ang mga magtutudlo para mahatod kaninyo ni ining ato ang programa. My name is Teacher Given and I am with
Ma'am Nanay Lore at your service.
All right. I hope nga kitang tanano anaa sa maayong kahimtang og luwas ang ato ang mga panlawas. Aduna tay hinsog nga panlawas din ha. And of course, ato ang ginatimbaya-tanan nato mga suking tigpaminaw, especially our division leaders. We have of course Dr. Euphemia Gamutin, our schools division superintendent.
That's right. We also have with us our ASDS, Dr. Romel Handayan.
And we are also saying hello to our two chiefs we have for the SJOD, Dr. Ruben Riponte.
And of course, our chief, the OIC chief of the CID. And at the same time, our program director of the radio-based instruction, Radyo Z-Eskwela, Dr. Arlene B. Lim.
Yes, hello also to Ma'am Noemi Canales, usapod sa atong mga inahan dinhi sa RBI, and to all our education program supervisors, especially our EPS in charge for today's episode. We got here Ma'am or Dr. Grace Pontillas and Ma'am Noemi Canales. Maayong pagpaminaw ninyong tanan.
And of course, Sir Given, ato lang po ato ang EPS nga bago di ay si Sir Pakpakin, Renato Pakpakin, Dr. Renato Pakpakin, of course, Dr. Andy Cabudok. Good morning po sa inyo.
Yes, good morning sa inyong tanan. And
we hope makasuroy sila diri no?
Yes, anytime soon. And of course, ato ang dili na to kalimtanay ang ato ang mga district heads.
That's right.
Na kanunay gyud naga-prompt sa ato mga magtutudlo sa mga nagkadaiyang distrito no para maminaw og ato adjong tangkilikon kining ato ang mga lesson presentations nga gina-air dinhi sa ato ang programa.
Yes, Sir Given, and they are very much eager to know the attendance of the day always kay para ilaha po daw mapasibaw dito sa ilang mga tagsa-tagsa ka mga GC sa ilahang ginsakpan sa mga distrito aron mahatagan og chance og maka-access ang ato ang mga magtutudlo, mga learners ug mga ginikanan.
Yes, with that being said, makita gyud nato ang panagtambayayungay sa ato ang mga magtutudlo and education leaders para gyud nga mapadayon nato og mas ma-improve pa nato kining ato ang pag-deliver sa instruction pinaagi sa ato ang radio-based instruction. And of course na mga pila na lang kabulan mahuman na nato ang school year 2020 to 2021.
Walang damhan,
Wala lang damha. And of course, ato ang pasalamatan gyud kanunay kining ato ang mga content presenters and material developers nga maudyoy nangunay sa ato ang mga leksyon. Daghan kayong salamat. And
oo, di po day nato limtan sir ang ato ang partner dinhi
Yes.
sa atong RBI and of course ang Z Radio 88.5.
yes, kanunay gyud na, no? Ladies and gentlemen, mabati ug makita gihapon ta ninyo pinaagi sa inyuhang mga radyo 88.5 on your radio dial o sa ato ang mga nagkadaiyang social media platforms.
Yes, you may view us, you may listen and watch at our Facebook Live at Z Radio 88.5, DepEd tayo Division of Davao de Oro, and of course, our Radyo Z-Eskwela, DepEd Davao de Oro.
Yes, and do not forget to fill out our attendance link for today na naka-flash ngayon sa inyong mga screen at nakapin po sa ating description box. That's https://tinyurl.com/Radyo Z-Eskwela May 20. Again, please fill out our attendance link na naka-flash ngayon sa inyong mga TV screen.
And don't forget, we also have our YouTube channel, ang Radyo Z-Eskwela DDO.
Yes.
Pwede ka mo subscribe, mo like, din sa ato ang mismong Radyo Z-Eskwela DDO YouTube channel.
Yes, pwede po kaayon nilang gamito nanay para maka-review sila sa ato ang mga lesson presentations nga na-air na dinhi sa ato ang programa. And we are encouraging everyone to please take part sa ating discussion by utilizing our comment boxes para sa inyong mga pangutana o mga pag-greetings din ha.
That's it. And you can also call or text us with our mobile phone number 0953-211-3492.
As what I've said a while ago, today is going to be a jam-packed episode. We got here some interesting lesson presentations
That's right.
nga ihatod kaninyo. And to kickstart our first lesson presentation, we got here our lesson for grade 11 with the course Discipline and Ideas in Social Sciences. We are going to discuss our topic, distinction between social science, natural science, and humanities. And this will be brought to us by our teacher too from Tambungon National High School, Senior High School, Sir Bregoli P. Hiromo. Kaya naman, mga kazi, ato ang iandam ato ang mga kaugalingon tungod kay ato ang ihatod kaninyo kining ato ang leksyon para sa grade 11. Time to level up your skill on this Skill Sighting Thursday as you learn the crafts in cookery, computer servicing, as well as learning new lessons in social sciences. My name is Teacher Given.
And I am Ma'am Nanay Lore.
Ubanimin ninyo, tara na!
Magklase na ta!
Good morning. Welcome to this Discipline and Ideas in Social Sciences. This subject has been offered to grade 11 senior high students. How can we better understand the natural science and social science will be the main concern of this presentation. An understanding of the natural science and social science is the main purpose of this presentation, as well as their interrelationships with one another. And through that, we can be best attain a systematic understanding on this particular subject. With this in mind, we draw ideas from the disciplines of anthropology, political science, sociology, biology, and even psychology. Surely, this presentation invites students to view the world around them in terms of the intersection of private lives and the larger social and historical context. The learning competency is based from the most essential learning competency under the UMS. And the learning competency is to differentiate the nature and functions of social science disciplines with the natural sciences and humanities. In this particular learning competency, there are three specific objectives. Number one, understand the meaning of social science. Number two, appreciate the nature of social science as a study of society. Number three, recognizes social sciences from natural science. Science has two general categories. The first category is social science. The second category is natural science. Science can be described generally as an effort to understand, explain, and make predictions about the world using the various methods of inquiry. Sciences are based on empirical data, tested theories, and carefully contrived observations. It does not ask the question about the nature of truth. Science seeks to discover the truth about specific causes of events and happenings in the natural world. It is inductive. It proceeds from observing particular cases and moves toward generalizing the properties common to these cases to other similar cases under the same specified condition. This definition of science is a very modern description. Before the modern period, the growth of the sciences was slowed down because of the dominance of religious authority and tradition. However, with the breakdown of the church and its religious power after the French Revolution, the sciences grew steadily and rapidly to become the most widely accepted way of explaining the world, nature, and human being. This time, let me show you some pictures for your class activity, which is simple picture analysis. Are you ready? I will describe it so that you can imagine what images I am referring to. I am now presenting to you the three pictures. What kind of objects do you see in the pictures? Just use your imagination. The first picture is a dry land or an image of a drought. The second picture is image of trees. And the third picture is the waterfalls. Can you now visualize? Can you now imagine what is the commonality among the three pictures? Again, the pictures are the following. The first picture refers to the drought. The second picture are images of trees. The third picture is the waterfalls. So what is the commonality among the three pictures? Well, surely you will answer all of them are natural. And since they are natural, they can be the subjects of inquiry under the natural science. So what is the meaning of natural science? Let's find out what is the meaning of it. What do you see in the pictures? The first is about the solar system, the different planets. What about the second picture? It is a series of waves. The waves are made of water. Those pictures are example of natural science concern. Because by definition, natural science is a major branch of science that deals with the description, prediction, and understanding of natural phenomena, basically based on observational and empirical evidence. So when we say empirical evidence, there is what we call the need. We gather data. We gather information based from our observation. Under natural science, there is what we call life science or biological science. It studies life in all its forms, from the past up to the present. That is life science or biological science. Another level under natural science is the physical science. This is the systematic study of the inorganic world, as distinct from the study of the organic world, which is the province of biological science.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
On the other hand, what do you mean by social science? Let's proceed. Now I am showing you another 3 pictures for you to visualize. I will describe them. The first picture, a combination of hands holding together. The second picture, a group of people taking pictures of themselves are known as selfie or groupie. The third picture, a group of people gathered in a particular place or park. What do you think is the commonality among these pictures? The hands, the selfie or groupie, and the people gathered in the park. Of course, your answer is all of them are human beings. And these human beings are expressing behavior. And human behavior is one of the concerns of social sciences. Again, the human behavior is another important concern in social science. This time, let me show you and outline the differences of social sciences and natural sciences. There are two columns. The first column refers to natural science, and the second column refers to social science. The first difference, the natural science started during the 16th and 17th century, while the social science, it arose 300 years later. In other words, natural science is older than social science. Another difference, the natural science deals with object, while the social science deals with subject, the human being. Natural science is characterized by exactness, controlled variables, and predictability, while the social science is spontaneous, unpredictable, and uncontrollable, as it deals with human emotions and behavior. For the natural science, it uses experimental data gathering, while in social science, it employs experiential data. The typical method of natural science is doing repetitive and conventional laboratory experiments, while in social science, it typically involves alternative methods of observation and interaction with people in the community. The following are subjects or disciplines under sciences while lecturing and explaining to you I hope you will identify if this discipline belongs to natural science or social science. Are you ready? Let us proceed. Biology. Biology is a branch of study that deals with living organisms and their vital processes. In biology, there is what we call a direct line of descent within a group of organisms. And this group constitutes or has the unity of a phylum. Now, this phylum is a primary category in biological taxonomy, especially of animals, that ranks above the class and below the kingdom. That is the concern of biology. Anthropology. Anthropology is a branch of study that deals with human beings and their ancestors through time and space in relation to physical character, environmental, social, and cultural relations. Anthropology as a scientific discipline originated from social philosophy. It grew out of the encounters of social scientists with the non-Western world. Anthropology emerged as a distinct branch of scholarship around the middle of the 19th century, when public interest in human evolution took hold. Anthropology as an academic discipline began a bit later, with the first appointments of professional anthropologists in universities, museums, and government offices. Many pioneers in anthropology built a universal model of cultural development patterned to Darwin's evolutionary theory that locates all societies in the linear evolutionary process. Like sociology, anthropology developed during the years of two world wars in the history. Four great anthropologists helped to formalize and advance anthropology as a discipline. They are Franz Boas, Malinowski, Radcliffe Brown, and Marcel Mauss. For Franz Boas, he is often considered as the father of modern American anthropology, and he was the first anthropologist to have rejected the biological basis of racism or racial discrimination. He also rejected the popular Western idea of social evolution, or the development of societies from lower to higher forms. Psychology. Psychology is a study of the mental or behavioral characteristics of an individual or group. The famous person in the history of psychology is no other than Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud believed that the acquisition of morality in children is strongly linked to sexual aggressiveness. These are the events of childhood from which morality emerged. For Freud, the human behavior is shaped by consciousness, drives, and motivations, and that those have some sexual correlation. Our psychic lives consist in the inner struggle of conflicting values for power and sexual gratification on the one hand, and the psychic and social inhibition against the fulfillment of those drives on the others. According to Sigmund Freud, culture, he regarded it as a quantitative activity in which civilization is more or less determined by the degree or intensity of the repression of instinct. Chemistry. Chemistry is a science that deals with the composition, structure, and properties of substances and with the transformations they undergo. It also concerns the common meaning of matter, that according to chemistry, the material substance that occupies space has mass and is composed predominantly of atoms consisting of protons, neutrons, and electrons that constitutes the observable universe, and that is interconvertible with energy. That is chemistry. History. It is a branch of knowledge that records and explains past events and their causes. History is to interpret the past events and how those events were shaping the present generation, the present society, and the present structure. That is the function of history, to reconnect ourselves from the past so that things can be re-evaluated, reassessed, and more reflection will be produced from the perspective of the insider or the local people. Economics. It is a study mainly concerned with analysis of the production, distribution, consumption of goods and services. The term economics actually comes from the Greek word oikonomia, which means management of the household. Why is there a need to manage the household? This is because the household or family has limited resources to meet each member's unlimited needs and wants. For instance, the average Filipino family has fixed income, property, and time, which it could devote to a number of competing uses. Thus, the members must choose the best way to allocate these resources so their various needs could be met. Your parents have to decide how much of the family's income should be spent for food, clothing, house improvement, and other basic needs. They have to decide whether to work during weekends or spend time with you and your siblings. They may let you decide whether to leave your backyard idle or plant it with vegetables. That is economics. Physics. It is a science that deals with matter and energy and their interactions. The physicists believe that most everyday phenomena can, in one way or another, be explained through physics, as matter and energy are the basic constituents of the natural world. They are what the entire universe is made of. We may not be aware of it, but everything we see and don't see is simply matter and the energy it possesses. Simple as matter may seem, its relationship with energy is intricate and can only be explained through a scientific approach. This is what this course is about. Physics is considered a scientific field. It formulates the laws of nature. Physics is the study of everyday phenomena. It aims to explain these phenomena in terms of the fundamental laws or the laws of nature. Political science is concerned with the description and analysis of political governmental institutions and processes. Political science is part of the social sciences. It deals with the study of politics, power, and government. In turn, politics refers to the process of making collective decisions in a community, society, or group through the application of influence and power. Political science studies even the most private and the personal decisions of individuals are influenced by collective decisions of a community. Some scholars argue that political science is a unique social invention. The science of the political during the 19th century was organized around the concept of the state, as elaborated by some famous German social scientists. The discipline of the social science shifted from state-centered to pluralism, as evidenced in the work of like Lawrence Lowell and even Sir Walter Lippmann. So the idea of pluralism led to the emphasis on analyzing group interests rather than the state. So in this view, society is viewed as being composed of several competing groups with different interests that generates conflict. That is political science. Zoology. Zoology is actually a branch of biology, and it concerned with the classification and the properties of animals. That is zoology. Sociology. It is a science of society, social institutions, and social relationships. The person is a social product, but society is created by acting persons. Social structure may thus be perceived as the matrix of society, emptied of humans, the totality of duties, the rights, the division of labor, norms, social control, abstracted from ongoing social. The actual relationship within the society is influenced by our social interactions to another group. And that is the main function of sociology. It deals with the study of the structure and the interactions that take place within the group or within the institution.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
In the Philippine setting, society is very important and is manifested by two important elements. That is, the family and the community life. This is a typical feature of a Filipino family in a Filipino society. So there is the importance of establishing a family and a community. In this picture is an example of a happy family. You can see the couple and the three kids. So this is a typical Filipino family. But a family becomes significant in relation to its community. That is why a family becomes a family in the context of community. Look at the second picture. The second picture is a typical bayanihan. The bayanihan system portrays solidarity and cooperation. This is a symbolic to the importance of the family in the community. So, a family is associated with cooperation and solidarity because family does not only exist for themselves but for other significant group in the society. So there are two pictures now, the family and the community, symbolized by the bayanihan system as expressing solidarity and cooperation. This time, we will be having another activity. Based from the pictures, that will be shown later, you will identify if it is social science or natural science. Are you ready? You may use your pen and write your answer. If it is social science, write SS. If it is natural science, write NS. Okay, let us start. Picture A is about factory workers. Is it social science or natural science? Picture B is drought or dry land. Is it social science or natural science? Picture C is an old jar. Is it under social science or natural science? Picture D is about exercising the right to vote. People are voting inside the pool center. Is it social science or natural science? Are you done? We will answer right now. Picture A, factory workers. Picture B, a drought. Picture C, the old or antiquated jar. Picture D, the people exercise their right to vote. Here are the answers. For picture A, factory workers, they belong to social science. For picture B, the drought, it belongs to natural science. Picture C, the antiquated jar or old jar, belongs to social science. Picture D, people exercising their right to vote, it belongs to social science. Congratulations! You are done with answering the 4 questions. We also have political science. This is a study of the governance, how a particular state is being run, and how the political connection and political rights are part and parcel of our nature as human beings. Another area is the economics, which refers to the demand and supply, our survival. Dear learners, after we discuss the different disciplines and the nature of natural science and social science, it's good to return to our learning competency so that we will be guided. Our learning competency in this particular lesson is differentiate the nature and functions of social science disciplines within natural sciences and humanities. The functions of natural science are the following. 1. It helps us to examine our human biological evolution, which provide an understanding of human origins and the capacity for culture. 2. It empowers us to comprehend more the biological, genetic, geological, geographical processes that powered the human evolution. So those are the functions of natural sciences. Again, 2 helps us to examine our human biological evolution, which provide an understanding of human origins and the capacity for culture. And the second is to empower us to comprehend more the biological, genetic, geological, geographical processes that powered human evolution. The functions of social sciences. First, social science helps us to see on how individuals learn culture and become competent members of society through enculturation and socialization. Second, social science brings us to closer understanding on social structure and other organized aspects of social life. After a series of discussion on the nature of social science and natural science, we are now in our conclusion. We therefore conclude that there is a strong challenge, this time on human adaptation and social change. How can we respond to these changes? We hope that through this brief presentation, you will gain knowledge both in natural science and social science. It is by knowing our biological and anthropological nature that we become aware of our capacity to act politically in building alternative future. Again, it is by knowing our biological and anthropological nature that we become aware of our capacity to act politically in building alternative future. Thank you very much for listening and joining with me, grade 11 senior high students. Thank you for those teachers who helped me in preparing this. To my beloved school principal, Bina Tolentino, and to my family for understanding and supporting. And to my grade 11 students, thank you very much. God bless you. See you next month.
Radyo Z-Eskwela Executive and Technical Working Committee. The school's Division Superintendent, Euphemia T. Gamutin Seso 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romel R. Handayan. Curriculum Implementation Division OIC Chief, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Program Director, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. Assistant Program Director, Noemi P. Canales. Members, Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opeña, Dr. Eldecris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Sikinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Dr. Renato N. Pakpakin, Dr. Andy P. Cabodok, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangit, Ryan Villanueva, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Daylan S. Milabat, Medard D. Apit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Production and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judiland T. U, Donna D. T. Bolifer, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen C. Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banyes. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Ranara, Joan T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istaniol, Richard H. Arellano, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo C. Gutierrez Jr., Jade Karen R. Arais, Eliza May Garsuta, Sedi S. Caballero, and Jane S. Caballero. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here at Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Pre, unsa din ang 88.5?
Z-Radio,
Unsa man po ng Z-Radio?
88.5.
Kuya, oy!
Ma 88.5 o Z-Radio man, kamo na minaw sa Siguradong Lingaw, Siguradong Kuyaw, Z-Radio 88.5.
Adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong kuyaw. Para sa bulawan na probinsya, Z-Radio. Sa bulawan na pagsibya, Z-Radio.
Kazi, usa ka ba ka teki? Pindot diri, pindot dito. Ang inyong bagong Z-Radio may application na. Mag-download sa Android App Store ug Z-Radio application aron masking asa ka man mo adto, Luzon, Visayas ug Mindanao ug masking naka sa Zimbabwe. Makapaminaw ka sa Siguradong Lingaw, Siguradong Kuyaw, Z-Radio 88.5.
Z-Radio. Sa bulawan na pagsibya, Z-Radio.
Z-Radio 88.5.
Check our time, it's 11:12 in the morning, and that time check is being brought to us by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, and of course by Mitch Construction and Supply. Mga kazi, we are back here sa ato ang programa na dungog na nato ang ato ang first lesson presentation for today's episode. Pasalamatan nato ug i-congratulate nay ang ato ang content presenter. Go ahead.
Yes, our content presenter sa bago lang nahuman na to nga lesson presentation, si Sir Brigoli P. Hiromo, Teacher 2 of Tambungon National High School, Senior High School Department, with our topic, Distinction between Social Science, Natural Science, and Humanities.
Yes, once again, daghan kayong salamat Sir Brigoli Hiromo of Tambungon National High School, and sa tanan nato mga teachers from Tambungon National High School,
Yes.
especially sa ilang school principal, and at the same time, the district coordinating principal of Pantukan South. Hello to Ma'am Balbina Tolentino. Maayong pagpaminaw ug sa tanang mga teachers din ha. Maayong pagpaminaw, and thank you very much sa inyuhang pagduyog sa ato ang programa.
Yes, Sir Given. Atong i-greet niya atong mga nagtanaw sa ato adini karon sa
Yes,
atong
go
programa, Sir Given. Hello to Ma'am Evangeline Idoliantes Amugis of Pangi, Elementary School, Mako North District. Naapod tayo mga estudyante din sa CVSC nga nagsigi og atang kanato og paminaw because I'm sure they are also learning, di ba? Hello to Karen May Cobrilia, to Reo Carillo, and of course, Moon Yen Howard Dominguez, mga estudyante ni sila sa CVSC. Hello also to Ma'am Ali Dawami. May pagpaminaw ug may pagtanaw din sa ato ang programa.
Yes, sa tanan nato mga magtutudlo sa mga nagkadaiyang tulunghaan dinhi sa ato ang division, maayong pagpaminaw, and nay ato ang i-invite ang ato ang mga kaubanang mga teachers to please tune in and manood po tayo later sa bago na namang episode ng Diri sa DepEd 11. That will be later.
Friday, no?
That will be hosted ngayon ba yon or bukas?
Ugma pa mga.
Yes, Friday. Bukas pa pala. I was thinking today is Friday.
Ang dali si Sir Given.
Yes, anyways, ato silang i-invite no para mag-tune in ugma. That would be hosted by Panabo City Division para pod ma-update ta kung unsa ang ilahang mga katikaran didto, unsa ang ilahang mga best practices nga pwede natong i-apply sa ato ang mga tagsa-tagsa katulunghaan.
That's right, Sir Given. And of course, we would like to invite again our learners out there nga mamina og butanaw dinhi sa atong lesson presentation karon kay aduna pa kitay naka-line up nga mga lesson presentations sa Araling Panlipunan og sa TLE. So arangkada na mo din ha sa inyong tagsa-tagsa ka mga panimalay. Inubanan usab sa ato ang mga magtutudlo din ha mismo sa ilahang respective areas of concern.
Yes, and again, we are reminding everyone to please do not forget to fill out our attendance link na naka-flash ngayon sa inyong mga TV screens or screens and nakapin po sa ating description box sa lahat ng ating mga live streamings.
Yes, Sir Given. Ako lang na i-greet, Sir Given, no, ang mga school administrators din na sa Compostela East District nga nagpahimutang karon sa ilahang murag na ay training dito. And of course, Compostela West District. Dinha sa distrito ni Sir Ray Antonio o ni Ma'am Maruha Belisario. May pagpaminaw sa inyo din natanan.
Yes, may pagpaminaw o padayon lang sa pagpalanog-lanog ni ining atong programa. Time now, it's 11:16 in the morning and that time check is being brought to us by Pahati Construction and Apex Mining Company Incorporated. Right now, we are going to move on to our next lesson presentation for our grade 12 Philippine Politics and Governance, and we will be discussing about the topic, the nature, forms, and consequences of power.
And of course, this will be presented to us by Ma'am Emmeline T. Katubig, Teacher 2 of Pantukan National High School, Senior High School Department, and of course, together with her creative resource material developer, Christine Jane P. Batukan, Teacher 2 of the same school.
To all our learners, especially our grade 12 students, please get ready because we are now going to give you our lesson presentation for grade 12 Philippine Politics and Governance. My name is Teacher Given.
And I am Ma'am Nanay Lor.
Tara na!
Magklase na ta!
Hello! Good morning to all subscribers of Radyo Z-Eskwela. Alright, this is again the subject Philippine Politics and Governance, a social science specialized subject for grade 12 learners. Welcome to our second learning episode. Once again, this is your course presenter, Ma'am Emmeline Tangal Katubig, and my brilliant partner, the course content developer, Ma'am Christian Jane Punsalan Batukan. Of course, to all of you, our dear students, we unceasingly express our heartfelt concern for your safety and general well-being. Stay safe and always be responsible in your studies and day-to-day activities. Eat healthy food, exercise, and always pray and thank our Almighty God for the gift of life. Also, thank you so much again for subscribing in this relevant program for you to receive continuous learning in this unique platform. Our lesson is entitled The Nature, Forms, and Consequences of power. Our lesson is anchored on the most essential learning competency: analyze the nature, dimensions, types, and consequences of power. Learning objectives: at the end of the lesson, the learner should be able to define power and identify and explain the nature, dimension, types, and consequences of power. Power is one of the central concepts and issues in political science. Questions like who wields power, how it is shared, checked, or monopolized, how can power be controlled, and what are its consequences are some of the interesting questions about the topic. You may not know it, but every day you are affected by the play of power in its political sense. You and even others also wield powers on other people, things, or even situations. At this point, let us define power in the context of political science. As cited from the work of Maria Perpetua Arcilia Serapio on Philippine Politics and Governance, in social science and politics, power is the ability to influence or control the behavior of people. The term authority is often used for power perceived as legitimate by the social structure. Power can be seen as evil or unjust, but the exercise of power is accepted as endemic to humans as social beings. Now, who are those we consider persons in authority who wield legitimate power? Can you give examples? Yes, those of our government officials, members of the Philippine National Police, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, teachers, medical personnel, religious authorities, chairman, presidents, or CEOs of various companies, even your parents, and many more. Again, authority is the wield of legitimate power. Legitimate power refers to the power that is inherent in the position and authority of an individual within an organization. Again, for example, family is the smallest unit of society. Parents are considered persons in authority. Children must honor and obey their parents. On the other hand, coercion is the use of power that involves force or the threat of force. One classic example is Adolf Hitler, a German politician who was the dictator of Germany from 1933 to 1945. Adolf Hitler rose to power as the leader of the Nazi Party, becoming Chancellor, and then assumed the title of Führer. During his dictatorship, he initiated World War II in Europe, first by invading Poland and the rest of the continent. He was central to the perpetration of the Holocaust, the genocide of about 6 million Jews and millions of other victims. Next is the nature of power. The nature of power is the ability to get what you want, as well as the ability to change the future. There are 4 types of power according to the study of Barney and Duval. These 4 types are also called the Taxonomy of Power. One is compulsory power. Compulsory power is defined as the direct control of one actor of the conditions and actions of others. Master and slave is the classic example among others. When we say compulsory, the exercise of power is beyond question. In the master-slave relationship, the master is perceived as superior and powerful. The slave, on the other hand, is compelled to obey or follow the master. The other taxonomy of power or type of power is institutional power. Institutional power exists in actors in direct control over the conditions of action of the socially distant others. One example is the use of rules or the law to impose order. Now, in the given illustration here, this is the enactment of Bayanihan to Heal as One Act, or RA number 11469 in 2020, or also known as Bayanihan Act. The law grants the President additional authority to combat the COVID-19 pandemic in our country. In addition to the President, the other actors involved are the law enforcers, who also help establish the safety and order of the people. Now, the other type or taxonomy of power is structural power. Structural power looks at the position and the rules of various actors in relation to each other. A good example is a coach to a player. Now, structural power is the power to decide how things shall be done, the power to shape frameworks, of which, in the given example or illustration here, it shows how the coach relates to his player. The coach knows the game plan and knows and decides how to play the game in order to win. His players, on the other hand, must be willing to be coached or be mentored, therefore must follow the game plan. And so, more of the types of power as well as taxonomy of power. Let's have a short break. We will be right back after this commercial.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
Welcome back. Previously, you have learned types of power, namely compulsory power, institutional power, structural power. Now let me present to you the other type. Productive power. Productive power works through diffuse constitutive relations to produce the situated social capacities of actors. It constitutes actors, their interests, capacities, and self-understanding through indirect and network discourse. Students, when we say discourse, it means speak or write authoritatively about a certain topic or issues. Now, in the context of productive power, it concerns the social discourses through which meaning is produced, fixed, live, experience, and transform. These discourses produce social identities and capacities for all subjects. For example, classificatory categories like being called civilized, Western, and democratic. The use of these words create differences in social capacities because of the meanings associated with them. Now, the attribute of being called civilized implies one's capacities of an advanced stage of social and cultural development, therefore, highly perceived as powerful and authoritative. Consequently, civilized and Western countries are often associated, and so their leaders and even the people of the Western countries are often perceived as powerful and more advanced. Now this time, let me present to you the dimension of power. Channels. It means the way in which power is enacted. They can perhaps more readily be remembered as head, hands, and heart. The other dimension of power is physical power, derived from material or physical advantage. Individually, it can come from strength or skill, having weapons and things. In the given example here, the power of a wrestler, physically able and strong, are perceived powerful individuals. It can also come from having weapons, which can be the ultimate power of groups and government. Other dimension of power is informational power, derived from knowledge. Power often comes from the control of access to information. There are examples of those who possess informational power, such as the scientists, scholars, and even the fear of the hacktivists known as Anonymous. Anonymous is a decentralized international activist widely known for cyber attacks. Anyone who possesses distinct powerful knowledge, therefore, knows much information and have always the advantage to manipulate, control, and influence others. Next, the other dimension of power is emotional power, the social power of affect, using emotion to get what you want. Indeed, emotion is power. You must know or master the leverage of the power of emotion because you can have or get what you want or control others. Know what are those emotional power words, such as pick a word with more emotional punch. For example, you say these words, last chance, to someone. Of course, that striking words compel one to do better and exert more effort that will bring out the best in them. Also, when you say this always to a child, good boy, good girl, these words create a powerful impact to them. Shift word choice, therefore, in the favor of emotion. During political campaign, the power of emotion plays a vital role to win votes. And that is very important. Emotion is power. The other dimension of power is intent. It refers to the intent of the person using power, either in helping or hurting others. One feels great in extending kindness and service, especially extending help and assistance to save one from trouble or problems. In the given example here, you see a helpless, innocent child saved by authorities. Now, the power intent here is to help others. The child is saved from human trafficking. On the other hand, the use of power with intent to hurt others. In the given illustration here, this happens in Europe, particularly in Hungary, wherein there are refugees or what we call migrants who forcibly wanted to take refuge in the country, but however, the police authorities forcibly drive them away at the border back to their homeland. Up next, the other dimension of power is called positive power, the power used for good. Now, in the example given here, the US government provides 3.5 million US dollars or equivalent to 170 million pesos to support the COVID-19 vaccines in the Philippines. Negative power is another dimension of power. It is defined as the use of power to directly harm other people. Now, students, in the given illustration here, this is the 9/11 terrorist attack. This happens when there was a series of 4 coordinated terrorist attacks headed by the Islamic terrorist group Al-Qaeda to the United States of America. This is the burning Twin Towers of the World Trade Center. This happened on the morning of September 11, 2001. Other dimension of power is called deliberateness. It is defined as the triggers which led to power being used. For example, the strict implementation of different types of community quarantine all over the country, like the rules and policies enhanced in the different types of quarantine. May it be an enhanced community quarantine or ECQ to MECQ and to the general community quarantine or GCQ. These are all results of deliberate use of power by authorities. Reactive power. Power is used in response to situations. For example, when natural calamities strike the country, it could be because of eruption of Taal volcano, strong earthquake, and even war in Marawi City. These circumstances have caused various government sectors or agencies to initiate actions and wield power in order to help and save the victims of calamities and disaster, like building temporary shelters and homes, distribution of relief goods, and other provisions of services. Proactive power is another dimension of power, defined as power used consciously and deliberately. Now, a good example here is that a certain Ana Patricia, a 26 years old resident of Purok Maginhawa in Quezon City, set up a shelf with groceries for those who have been jobless and hungry during this time of pandemic. Now, her effort sparked a nationwide trend we now call community pantry. So this is a simple and humble resident, yet she able to express the best example of what we call proactive power in this time of pandemic. Alright, up next, students, are the 5 bases of power according to social psychologists John R. P. French and Bertram Raven, classic work on the basis of power. 1 is legitimate power, also called positional power, the power of an individual because of the relative position and duties of the holder of the position within an organization. It also means the formal authority delegated to the holder of the position. Now, examples of this are our barangay officials, our municipal mayors, governors, and even our congressmen and higher government officials in terms of politics and governance. Now, the other basis of power is referent power, defined as the power or ability of individuals to attract others and build loyalty. It is based on charisma, interpersonal skills, nationalism, patriotism, and it is also used by advertisers. An example given here is Andres Bonifacio's referent power, able to attract loyal followers to his revolutionary movement, the Katipunan against the Spaniards. Expert power is another basis of power, wherein it is defined as an individual's power deriving from the skills or expertise of the person and the organization's needs for those skills and expertise. Accordingly, expert power is the perception that a certain person has an elevated level of knowledge or a specific skill not found in others in a certain organization. Today, in the face of pandemic, we need more health experts as well as scientists, especially in developing vaccines as well as finding cure to the COVID-19 virus. Countries who are able to develop vaccines, we perceive them powerful because of the expertise of their citizens, and that specifically the scientists. Reward power. It is defined as it depends on the ability of power wielder to confer valued material reward. It refers to the degree to which the individual can give others a rewards of some kind. Now, in reward power, one example is that a company's boss offers benefits such as time off, desired gifts, and others to his employees. However, it is ineffective if abused. Coercive power. It means the application of negative influences. It includes the ability to demote or to withhold other rewards. The desire for valued rewards or the fear of having them withheld ensures obedience of those under power. Now, this form of power builds resentment as well as resistance from people who experience it. Threats and punishment are common tools of coercion. Now, in the example here, it shows the ability of the company's manager, for example, to force an employee to follow an order by threatening the employee with punishment if the employee does not comply the order. Now, this lesson also aims to know what are the consequences of power. Power as a perception. People who use power cues and act powerfully and proactively tend to be perceived as powerful by others. Now, remember that there are some people become influential even though they don't overtly use powerful behavior. Meaning, if individuals experience a sense of power, they feel as if they can control or have control of the situations. Consequently, others look up to them and depend on leadership. According to the study of Lammers and Stapel, how power influences moral thinking, they posited that when individuals experience a sense of power, they feel a motivation to maintain that existing hierarchy. In general, compliance with policies and procedures will sustain that hierarchy. That is, many of the policies and procedures in the organizations are introduced, at least partly because the motive is to maintain authority. Thus, a sense of power coincides with a respect towards these rules and regulations. The other consequence of power is that power as a relational concept, meaning power exists in relationships. But the issue here is that how much relative power a person has in comparison to one's partner. Partners in close and satisfying relationships often influence each other at different times in various arenas. In the given illustration here, President Duterte and MNLF Chairman Norm Miswari displayed a cordial relationships. It was when President Duterte appointed him as the ambassador to the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. In CNN Philippines, President Duterte said, "There are enemies you cannot kill because you need them," referring to Miswari, whose men were responsible of the Zamboanga City crisis way back in 2013. Alright, more of the consequences of power. We will be right back after this commercial.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, this time, let's continue our topic on the consequences of power. Power as a resource base. It means power usually represents a struggle over resources. The more scarce and valued resources are, the more intense and protracted are power struggles. Meaning, people have the most power when the resources they possess are hard to come by or are high in demand. A good example given here is our territorial disputes with China over the West Philippine Sea. The West Philippine Sea is said to have abundant aquatic and fishery resources as well as natural gas fields. It has great potential to be one of the country's sources of natural gas and a cheaper electricity, which could ultimately address energy security concerns of our country. And so again, power usually represents a struggle over valued resources. On the other hand, according to Aristotle in his classic work, Politics, there are situations that power in the government is corrupted by personal and selfish goals of the individuals. These individuals pursue laws and intervene with social services to achieve personal rather than communal gains. This is true throughout the history of mankind, wherein various individuals in history, such as dictators, I'll give you an example. Pol Pot. Pol Pot is a Cambodian political leader, or also known as Khmer political leader, who led a totalitarian regime in Cambodia between 1975 to 1979. He's a good example who used power vested on him by the respective government to pursue personal ambitions over the welfare of his people. Now, his radical communist government forced the mass evacuations of cities, killed or displaced millions of people, and left a legacy of brutality and impoverishment. Another example is Adolf Hitler, one of the most well-known and reviled figures in history. As the leader of Nazi Germany, he orchestrated both World War II and the Holocaust, events that led to the deaths of at least 40 million people. Alright, students, in studying politics, we must be aware and accept the fact that power as a central concept is dynamic and has different forms depending on who is imposing power and how that power is expressed. Remember that power can corrupt an individual. Instead, it should be that the use of power must achieve a communal goal rather than a personal gains or ambitions. Now, this is of course ideal. Alright, now this time, students, prepare answer sheet. Let's have these writing exercises. First, you're going to identify which dimension of power is being described here. Number your paper 1 to 5. Number 1, it is based on love, care, and concern. Number 2, the power to say no or to restrict access in some forms. Number 3, I know your weaknesses, that is why I will use it for leverage to trying to persuade you. Number 4, charisma and power of oratory. And number 5, owning a building or a machine. Alright, let's proceed to the next writing exercise. You answer this question. How will you use the different types of power to affect the behavior of other people? Cite a specific situation as an example. Here's the rubrics. 5 points for appropriate examples given, and another 5 points for sound and logical explanation. Good job, students! In conclusion of this topic, always bear in mind that knowledge will give you power, but character, respect. Also, the power you have is to be the best version of yourself you can be, so you can create a better world. Now, our guide and references in this learning episode. Thank you so much for listening and subscribing to this program. Until next learning episode of the subject, Philippine Politics and Governance. Once again, this is your course presenter, Ma'am Emeline Tangal Katubig, and my brilliant course content developer, Ma'am Christian Jane Punsalan Batukan. Keep safe, everyone, and God bless us all.
Radyo Z-Eskwela Executive and Technical Working Committee. The school's division superintendent, Euphemia T. Gamutin Seso 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romel R. Handayan. Curriculum Implementation Division OIC Chief, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Program Director, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. Assistant Program Director, Noemi P. Canales. Members, Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opeña, Dr. Eldecris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Sikinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Dr. Renato N. Pakpakin, Dr. Andy P. Cabodok, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangit, Ryan Villanueva, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Daylan S. Milabat, Medard D. Apit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Production and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judiland T. Yu, Donna D. T. Bolivar, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen C. Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banyes. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Ranara, Joan T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istaniol, Richard H. Arellano, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo C. Gutierrez Jr., Jade Karen R. Arais, Eliza May Garsuta, Sedi S. Caballero, and Jane S. Caballero. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here at Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Z Radio 88.5. Z Radio 88.5.
We are back here sa ating programang Radyo Z-Eskwela.
Siguradong masaya!
Check our time, it's 11:52 in the morning and you're still tuning into Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw.
Siguradong kuyaw.
Yes, Nay, atoan nang nahatag
Yes.
sa ato ang mga kaigsuunan, kini ato ang ikaduhang lesson presentation for today. Daghan kayong salamat sa ato ang content presenter na si Ma'am Emeline T. Katubig, Teacher 2 of Pantuca National High School. Kauban ang Creative Resource Material Developer na si Ma'am Christian Jane P. Batukan, also from Pantuca National High School. And congratulations for a job very well done sa pag-prepare sa ato ang leksyon for today.
That was for grade 12, Philippine Politics and Governance, nga adunay topic nga the nature, forms, and consequences of power.
Yes, daghan kayong salamat once again, and in case na atay gustong mapaklaro pa with regard sa ato ang topic, please feel free to approach your teachers in your respective schools. I am sure they are more than willing to assist you in giving you or in responding in all your queries, no? Kay nakatutok yun na sila dinha kanunay.
That's right, Sir Given. And I'm sure ready po na sila nga mo hatag og pagtagad sa tanan ninyong mga questions, sa inyong mga comments and suggestions. And I'm sure you can call them or text them o dali ra kayo na sila makontak.
Sadly, dili na to makauban ang ato ang mga content presenters karon, no, tungod kay because of some valid reasons.
That's right.
Apan I'm sure nakatutok na sila dinha karon sa ato ang live streaming, and daghan kayong salamat once again, no. Hello sa ato ang mga magtutudlo dinha sa Pantuca National High School. Hello to Ma'am Ranalan, ang ilahang school principal dinha. Maayong pagpaminaw ninyong tanan.
Yes, Sir Given. And hello also di ay sa tanang mga teachers din ha sa Compostela Central Elementary School SPED Center. Labi na sa amo ang school principal si Ma'am Maria Belia R. Alvarez.
Yes, and usa ta mo bye-bye na no kay musunod naman dayon sa ato ang programa si Teacher JL and Teacher Donna. Ato asang pasalamatan kining atong mga program sponsors nga nintabang sa ato para mas mahimong successful kining ato ang regular airing sa atong program. Hello and thank you very much to Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated.
Thank you also Maverick Builders Incorporated.
Mitch Construction and Supply.
Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply.
DB Construction and Supply.
Kanaway Builders Corporation.
Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station.
Master Construction and Supply.
Mackenzie Builders.
And of course, GP&H Construction Incorporated.
To all of you, daghan kaing salamat, no? And again, thank you very much for your overwhelming support. Kung wala mo, dili gyud mamahimong successful kining ato ang pag-air sa ato ang leksyon matag adlaw nga tanan. Sa kakatsunin lamang po, please ubanin ninyo ang ato ang programa hantod alas 2 sa hapon tungod kay we still have a lot in store for you today. Expectedly na ato ang ihatod kanila ang ato ang mga leksyon sa technology and livelihood education.
Yes, sir. Given before we'll end, I would like to greet the IC. Happy birthday, Ma'am Nono Kilisadjo Balansag.
Hello, Ate Nono. Happy birthday.
And happy birthday also to my cousin, Yan Palencia.
To all of you, happy birthday sa lahat ng ating mga kasamang mga teachers, no? Daghan kaayong salamat and sa tanang mga nag-celebrate po sa ilang mga birthdays today. Happy birthday. Yes, akong pagumangkod. John Lester Galia, maayong pagpaminaw din ha sa Barangay Libasan. And of course, sa ato ang mga suking tigpaminaw, daghan kaayong salamat sa pag-uban sa first 2 hours sa atong programa for today.
Yes. And happy greetings di ay to my brother Renante Eran and my sister Maribik Eran. Sa akong mangho JR. Sa among pamilya, sa akong pamilya pala. Hello, tatay.
Hello also sa akong mga kaubanan sa Monte Vista National High School main campus. Sa amo ang school principal for Dr. Jernaldine O. Perez. Hello to Mama Marites Villa Corteza, our school principal for the senior high school. And to Sir Genev Miguel, our head teacher 3 assistant principal designate.
Okay.
Check our time. It's 11:56. So ano tayo igong oras mga kazi. Daghan kaayong salamat once again and we are very much happy nga makauban mo matag adlaw dinhi sa ato ang programa. This has been your anchors. My name is Teacher Given.
And I am Ma'am Nanay Lore at your service.
Saying God bless everyone and kanunay dalaygon ang Diyos.
Pagtutulungan, walang kupas na kaugalian. Nagtagatibay, sinasabuhay. Galak sa puso ay walang kapantay. Panahon na naman ang brigada. Pagbigkisin lakas at diwa. Tara na brigada na. Ikaw ako, tayong lahat, hawak kamay, sabay-sabay, kapit-bisig, buong bayan. Tara na, kumilos na. Tulong-tulong sa pagsulong, hatid na kalidad sa edukasyon. Sa kabataan, saya at dunong, buong madla sabay na aahon. Panahon na naman ng brigada. At diwa, tara na brigada na. Brigada, eskwela, magkaisa sama-sama. Brigada. tadhana.
Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo. Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo. Di mo alintana mga batikos at pangungutya, lalong-lalo na sa panahon ng pandemya. Ika'y di sumusuko, lumalaban at nangangako, maihati pa rin ang serbisyong totoo. Para sa kabataan, ginagawa ang lahat, maibigay lang ang edukasyong karapat-dapat. Kaya't ang awit kong ito ialay ko sa'yo. Deped ako'y saludo sa'yo sa katapatan mo sa Pilipino. Ngayong kaarawan mo, tanggapin mo ang pagpupugay ko. O deped ako'y saludo sa'yo. Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo. Ika'y pinangungunahan ng isang superwoman, walang iba, Madam Leavener, Briones lang naman. Sa ngalan ng serbisyo, dedikasyon sa trabaho, pagmamahal ng isang ina, nararamdaman ko. Ikaw ang humuhubog sa aming kinabukasan, laging inuuna ang kapakanan ng kabataan. Kaya't ang awit kong ito ialay ko sa'yo. Deped ako'y saludo sa'yo sa katapatan mo sa Pilipino. Ngayong kaarawan mo, tanggapin mo ang pagpupugay ko. O deped ako'y saludo sa'yo. Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo. Saludo, saludo, saludo ako sa'yo.
Katambalan ng pag-ahon, isang bansang puso ay pinag-iisa.
Nang diin, lahat tayo'y uunlad at aangat.
Yan tayo, kabrigada, diwa ng bayanihan, atin ang hanggang simula. Man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayani kabrigada, lahat ang ika'y gawin, ikatay kayang buhatin. Ito ang pusong brigada, paalala ay pinapaganda. Pusong brigada eskwela, walang iwanan tayo.
Paaralan, tinatawag na tahanan.
Aalagaan, patuloy pagyamanin, kulay at ngiti, panatilihin natin. Kapit lang,
Sama-sama,
walang iwanan,
mananatiling magkasangga.
langit ay kakampirin natin. Ano man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayani ka brigada, lahat Brigada Eskwela, walang iwanan tayo. Walang iwanan tayo.
Sabay-sabay na babangon, sama-samang ahon, ihanda ang sarili sa hamon. Ipapipigil sa pagsulong sa kinabukasan ng katuon, para sa di kalidad na edukasyon.
Balik eskwela na naman, isa puso ang kahandaan. Handang isip, handa bukas, sa pagkakaisa ay may lakas.
Ito na ang new normal, online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face-to-face, gamit ang cellphone at radio base. Yakapin na ang pagbabago, pahirapan, kaya natin to. Lakasan ang iyong loob, sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Kristiyano't katutubo, isang hanggarin san patungo. Ipagpatuloy pag-aaral mo, tagumpay ay naghihintay sa'yo.
Balik eskwela na naman, isa puso ang kahandaan. Handang isip, handa bukas, sa pagkakaisa ay may lakas.
Ito na ang new normal, online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face-to-face, gamit ang cellphone at radio base. Yakapin na ang pagbabago, pahirapan, kaya natin to. Lakasan ang iyong loob, sa bagong normal, sa bagong
Isang
mundo.
alang-alang natin ang ating kaligtasan, sa bawat oras at panahon, magpakailanman. Hangad palagi ng ating paaralan, ang matuto, gayon din maging ligtas ang kabataan. Tayo ay magkaisa, halina't sama-sama, kasali lahat, kasama lahat, para sa lahat. Pilipinas, maghanda ka na, balik eskwela na, tara. Tayong lahat, sabay-sabay,
Pagkakaisa ay may lakas. Ito na ang new normal, online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face-to-face, gamit ang cellphone at radio base. Yakapin na ang pagbabago, pahirapan, kaya natin to. Lakasan ang iyong loob, sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo.
Hoy, tara, magklase na ta! Tara, tara! Sige, sige! Let's go!
Kunin na ang radyo, hanapin ang Z-Radio. Halika na at makinig, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig, matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhan bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela.
Halika na, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhang bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela.
Handog ng DepEd Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya!
Let's go!
Kayo po ay nakikinig dito sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Ito po si Teacher JL. Magandang tanghali po mga ka-Z-Eskwela. And kasama ko dito sa ating booth si Teacher Donna. Magandang tanghali, Teacher Donna.
Yes, one beautiful Thursday afternoon, Teacher JL. Sa tala na itong mga zuking tigpaminaw din hilang sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya.
Alright, daghan salamat for being with me, Teacher Donna. And I apologize for not being here yesterday because I had something very important to do. Oras natin mga ka-Z-Eskwela, 12:10 na ng tanghali. Oras atid sa atin ng Arangay Construction and Supply and Weing Construction Company. Makasama niyo po sina Teacher Donna and Teacher JL hanggang alas 2 ng hapon. 2 oras po tayo magsama-sama ngayong hapon na ito mga ka-Z-Eskwela. And for our lesson presentations for the second half of today's edition of Radio Z-Eskwela, we have Teacher Donna.
Yes, we will be with Sir Wilcor C. Tayone, Master Teacher 1 from Moncayo National High School, along with his Creative Resource Material Developer, Ma'am Cora R. Benedicto from Nabunturan National Comprehensive High School. At Grade 9 Technology and Livelihood Education tayo, Teacher JL. Then, pag-uusapan natin ang Selecting Measuring Instrument and Electronic Products Assembly.
Right, na-miss natin si Sir Wilcor.
Yes.
And at 1 o'clock mga ka-Z-Eskwela, we will be having Sir Wilfredo Takasan. Aba, na-miss din natin ito, Master Teacher 2 of Magnaga National High School, and Sir Mark Louis Cartagena or Hena, Teacher 1 of Magnaga National High School. That's grade 10, Technology and Livelihood Education. That's about preparing sponge and cakes. Ayan.
Yes.
Teacher Donna, mahilig ka bang mag-bake ng cake?
Hindi, pero mahilig kang kumain ng cake. Hindi mag-bake.
Ayan, pareho tayo. Okay, paabangan natin yan para marunong tayo mag-bake ng cake.
Yes.
Okay, so Teacher Donna, naka-live pa rin po tayo sa ating tatlong Facebook pages. Teacher Donna?
Yes, you can send us your comments, your greetings, suggestions, and questions at Z-Radio 88.5, DepEd tayo Division of Davao de Oro, and Radyo Z-Eskwela, DepEd Davao de Oro official Facebook pages.
Right, and meron tayong YouTube channel, mga ka-Z-Eskwela. We have Radyo Z-Eskwela, DDO. At sakaling nakikinig kayo sa ating mga radyo, sa inyong mga radyo, at via our tawag niyan, app, no? Sa Z-Radio app natin, all you have to do is text us at 0953-211-3492. That's again, 0953-211-3492. Again, ito po si Teacher JL.
And I am Teacher Donna.
Na nagpapasaya sa inyo lagi dahil dito sa Radyo Z-Eskwela,
siguradong masaya.
Magsisimula na tayo, Teacher Donna.
Kaya mga ka-eskwela, time to level up your skills on this Skill Sighting Thursday as you learn the crafts in cookery, computer servicing, as well as learning new lessons in social sciences. Kaya mga ka-eskwela, tara na, tara na!
Magklase na ta.
As the saying goes, tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn. Welcome to the Technology and Livelihood Education Grade 9 Dressmaking Specialization. Good afternoon, learners, and to all listeners right now on this station. I am Cora R. Benedicto with Wilcor C. Tayuni, your teacher in Technology and Livelihood Education Grade 9 in Dressmaking Specialization. And you are listening to Radio Z-Eskwela 88.5, Siguradong Masaya. Hello everyone! I hope each one of you are in good health and in perfect condition as we learn our lesson together. We are hoping that everyone is comfortable in their respective places and excited to learn for this session. Have you eaten your lunch? Good! This will nourish your body and will make you eager to learn as we go along on our lesson. Before we start, make sure that you have the following: module, pen, notebook, or paper. Are you excited? That's great! We have two topics for today. Topic number 1, different accessories used in dresses. Topic number 2, common trimmings used in dresses. As we go along with our lesson, you should be able to define accessories and trimmings, enumerate different accessories and trimmings for children's dress, show appreciation on the uses of accessories and trimmings on children's dress. But before we'll proceed on our lesson, let us first test your knowledge on how far you have learned in our lesson. This test has 5 questions, so number your paper from 1 to 5 and write the letter of the correct answer in your paper. Okay, are you ready? Good! I'm going to read the question twice. Question number 1. A type of plain wave fabric usually made from cotton, wool or rayon, often printed with a design and floral. A. Challis, B. Chiffon, C. Linen. Question number 1. A type of plain wave fabric usually made from cotton, wool or rayon, often printed with a design and floral. A. Challis, B. Chiffon, C. Linen. The answer is letter A. Question number 2. A soft staple fiber that brings comfort to children because it is breathable. A. Linen, B. Silk, C. Cotton. Question number 2. A soft staple fiber that brings comfort to children because it is breathable. A. Linen, B. Silk, C. Cotton. The answer is letter C. Question number 3. A fabric that is most commonly used for veils and gowns. A. Wool, B. Cotton, C. Tulle. Question number 3. A fabric that is most commonly used for veils and gowns. A. Wool, B. Cotton, C. Tulle. The answer is letter C. Question number 4. A thin all-cotton fabric, commonly striped, used to make clothing for spring and summer wear. A. Challis, B. Sursacker, C. Cotton. Question number 4. A thin all-cotton fabric, commonly striped, used to make clothing for spring and summer wear. A. Challis, B. Sursacker, C. Cotton. The answer is letter B. Question number 5. This fabric is smooth, glossy, and beautiful. It is also strong and vulnerable to fading and stains. A. Silk, B. Organza, C. Tulle. Question number 5. This fabric is smooth, glossy, and beautiful. It is also strong and vulnerable to fading and stains. A. Silk, B. Organza, C. Tulle. The answer is letter B. How many got 5? Very good. How about 3 up? Good. You did a great job. I'm glad you remember the kinds of fabrics suited for children's wear and its uses. You have to consider that in choosing the right fabric for children wear is so important. This will ensure the comfort of children in wearing their clothes. For our next lessons, this will help you to choose the right accessories and accents that will enhance the children's dress. Now, open your module lesson 4, Accessories and Accents for Children's Wear. Children's wear is clothing for children who have not yet grown to full height. It is more often casual than adult clothing, fit for play and rest, and comfortable. Children's wear should be comfortable for them to move easy, decrease sweat situation, high elasticity, and colorful to watch, to match to their bubbly personality. To freshen up children's wear, clothing accessories and trimmings are added. Accessories are important part of children's wear. These are the items that can be added to make the children's wear good looking, perfect, and beautiful. It makes the look more stylish and attractive. It also gives significance to the personal style, taste, and preferences. Accessories make outfit look more interesting and express your unique style. In putting or choosing accessories for dresses, always consider the art of principles and elements of design. Fan. A flat unit permanently mounted on the frame. A handheld device designed to be waved back and forth in order to induce airflow for the purpose of cooling the person. At the same time, a decorative accessory to complete an outfit. It is also used to shield the face against the glare of the sun. Handkerchief. A piece of cotton fabric, linen or silk that is typically square and adorned with lace and embroidery. Typically, it is a hem square of thin fabric which can be carried in the pocket or handbag, and which is intended for personal hygiene purposes such as wiping one's hands or face. Hat. A shaped head covering having crown and brim. Kids with cute hats look extremely adorable and cute. Hats are the perfect kids' accessories for summers in a tropical climate since they can help you protect from the harmful sun rays. It is the perfect accessory for an event by the pool or the beach. While choosing hats, you can either choose a hat that fits your kid's head perfectly, or you can go for the one that is slightly bigger. In both these cases, the right hat will look extremely adorable. Make sure that the hat matches the overall attire of your kid so that it does not look out of place. Scarf. A length or square of fabric worn around the neck or head. A simple long-sleeve t-shirt or sweatshirt takes on a fresh look when a colorful knitted scarf is tied loosely around your child's neck. This is a great way to add a trendy element to an otherwise plain outfit. Hosiery consists of hose and stockings, also referred to as legwear. Describes garments worn directly on the feet and legs. It consists of hose, leggings, tights, socks, and stockings. There are so many different colors and styles of socks and leggings that they can really add some flair to an outfit. A basic black skirt suddenly becomes stylish when paired with long leggings that have the appearance of lace-up sneakers. Shoes. Flat closed or high-heeled footwear fitted for style, comfort, and freedom. Shoes and boots can create a fashion statement. Within reason, try to allow your child to choose his or her own footwear. Some kids will stick with what all the others are wearing, but a brave few will use the opportunity to show off their sense of style with something different and eye-catching. Hair bow. A decorative bow worn in the hair. Nothing can change the look of an outfit more than adding a colorful and fun hair accessory like the hair bow. Headband. A band of fabric worn around the head as a decoration or to keep the hair or perspiration off the face. Little girls have the freedom to experiment with their hair much more than adults. They can wear fancy hairbands with style and look extremely adorable. In fact, if you go to the department stores in search of the best hairbands, you will see that the little girls have exponentially more options than the adults. Hairbands look great on little girls with both long as well as short hair. For the girls who have long and flowy hair, the hairbands act as a functional accessories that help them keep their hair tucked in. For the girls with slightly shorter hair, the hairbands will ensure that the hair does not obstruct their vision by coming onto the face. These fashionable accessories are especially functional in windy environments. Some fancy hairbands come with tiny electric circuits and LEDs that can light up. Others have Mickey Mouse ears attached to them. Belt is a flexible band or strap typically made of leather, plastic, or heavy cloth worn around the natural waist or near it. A unique belt can help dress up a pair of old jeans and allow your child to add personal style. Belts come in a range of styles, from solid colors to polka dots, neon colors, and animal prints. Waist belts are functional accessories that can easily help you tuck in loose dresses in a comfortable manner. They are ideal for little girls. Typically, when you are choosing dresses for a little girl, you should choose a size that is a few inches larger. Little girls between the ages of 5 and 7 grow very quickly. Therefore, if you choose a dress that matches her size perfectly, she will most likely outgrow the dress within a couple of months. When you use a waist belt to tuck the dress in correctly, the dress will never get any creases or look uncomfortably huge. In fact, the waist belt will highlight the best feature of the dress even further. Handbag. A bag of leather, fabric, plastic held in the hand or carried by means of a handle or strap, commonly used for holding money, personal grooming items, small purchases, and others. Handbags are some of the best accessories for girls because they allow the girls to carry vital items like wallets, diary, pen, and others. Conventionally, girls' dresses, pants, and jeans have a very tiny and shallow pockets. They are not meant for carrying a lot of stuff. Therefore, girls face a lot of difficulty in carrying these vital items. The handbags are fashionable accessories that can help little girls carry important items with her. Sunglasses. Glasses tinted to protect the eyes from sunlight or glare. The right pair of sunglasses will look great on the kids, given that these accessories match the dress appropriately. Therefore, it is a good idea to carry picture of the dress or the dress itself to the store while selecting the right sunglasses for it. If you are not sure about the color of the glasses that you should purchase for a particular dress, go with the classic black or white glasses. The classic white and black sunglasses will match almost every dress. You can choose the glasses with a white frame on the light-colored dresses and the glasses with a black frame for the darker dresses. Make sure that you do not buy a frame that is too large or too small for your girl's face. Ask her to try the sunglasses on once before purchasing them. Jewelry consists of decorative items worn for personal adornment. It is often made of a valuable metal such as gold and sometimes decorated with precious stones. Bracelet is an ornamental chain for wrist and arm. Necklace is an ornamental chain or string of beads, jewels, or links worn around the neck. Ring is a small circular band, typically of precious metal and often set with one or more gemstones worn on a finger. Earring is a piece of jewelry worn on the lobe or edge of the ear. Brooch is a large ornamental pin placed in front or shoulder arm. Now that you learned the different accessories for children's dresses, you can now plan on what accessories you will add to complete the children's dress or your outfit for a particular situation. I believe you all knew Miss Universe Catriona Gray. Can you identify what accessories she used during her competition? Hindi ito earrings. Ito ay ear cuff kung saan it really enhances her outfit and give her a very unique style from others. How about Miss Rabia Mateo with her yellow gown? Kay Miss Rabia naman ay yellow earrings. I will give you a situation to test if you understand our topic. Number 1, your family is going to the beach. What accessories will you use to complete your outfit? Sige nga. Okay, sunglasses, okay. Hat, handbag, sandals. Pwede din yung fan. Very good. Number 2, your younger sister is a flower girl for your cousin's wedding. What accessories you will use to enhance its dress? Jewelries, okay. Headband, fan, handkerchief, handbag. Can your sister use sunglasses on this occasion? Yes or no? No, because it's a very formal occasion and sunglasses, ginagamit ito in protection for your eyes or mainit na panahon. Accessories are an important part of children's wear. These are the items that can be added to make the children's wear good-looking, perfect, and beautiful. It makes outfit look more interesting and express your unique style. It can save money also because it gives a new look for an old outfit. Let's take a break first before we proceed to our next topic. Drink water and stretch your body.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
And now we're back. Our next topic is about the common trimmings used in dress. Are you still with me? Good! Trimmings are the ornamental decoration and addition to the bare fabrics or a finished garment. This is also used to improve or emphasize the apparel's beauty. Trimmings are materials, often small decoration, which are attached by sewing to the body of your clothes. Though they are mostly for decoration purposes, but these trimmings are functional use as well. The following are the common trimmings used in dresses. Frog, loop fastening made of braid or cording. A frog, sometimes referred to as a Chinese frog, is an ornamental braiding for fastening the front of a garment that consists of a button and a loop through which it passes. The usual purpose of frog is to provide a closure for a garment while decorating it at the same time. Applique, a separate design for petals, leaves or figures which is cut and applied to another surface. Binding, a strip of bias used to decorate an edge. Buttons, pieces of metals, bones, glasses with shanks or holes of various shapes and sizes. A small disc or knob sewn onto a garment, used for decoration or to fasten the garment by being pushed through a hole made for the specific purpose. Button is the most popular among the fasteners. Generally, it is made of plastic, but other materials like metal or wood are also used. Collar bands attach over necklines. Sometimes they are cut as part of the front bodies. Embroidery, an ornamental needlework consisting of designs worked on fabric by hand or machine. Gathers, fullness shearing, consists of 3 or more rows of gather. Loop, a fastening which extends beyond the finished edges used on clothing with no loop. Ribbons, a thin fabric of silk or velvet used for trimming. Rickrack, a flat woven zigzag braid in mercerized cotton or rayon. Ruffles, strips of cloth gathered together or pleated as a trimming to finish edges. Scallop, an edge finish made up of a series of semicircles. Pocket, fabric piece used to shape a pouch on a dress. Now that you learned the different accessories and common trimmings used in dresses, you have to put in mind the difference between the two. Accessories refer to the materials which are not attached to the body of clothing by sewing, only used for garments finishing or decorative purposes. While trimmings refers to the materials which are attached to the body of garments by sewing and used for functional purposes and at the same time a decorative one. This time we'll go to your module on what I have learned part. Prepare your paper and pen as I read the questions. Be sure to listen attentively and focus on each question. Write the letter of the correct answer. Are you ready now? Okay. Question number 1. It is a large ornamental pin placed in front or at the shoulder arm of the child's dress. A. Applique, B. Bands, C. Brooch, D. Hosiery. Question number 1. It is a large ornamental pin placed in front or at the shoulder arm of the child's dress. A. Applique, B. Bands, C. Brooch, D. Hosiery. Question number 2. Which is described as strips of cloth gathered together or pleated as a trimming to finish edges? A. Binding, B. Lace, C. Rickrack, D. Ruffles. Question number 2. Which is described as strips of cloth gathered together or pleated as a trimming to finish edges? A. Binding, B. Lace, C. Rickrack, D. Ruffles. Question number 3. How will you define scallop? A. Loop fastening made of braid or cording. B. An edge finish made up of a series of semicircles. C. A narrow fabric of silk or velvet used for trimming. And D. A flat woven zigzag braid in mercerized cotton or rayon. Question number 3. How will you define scallop? A. Loop fastening made of braid or cording. B. An edge finish made up of a series of semicircles. C. A narrow fabric of silk or velvet used for trimming. and D. A flat woven zigzag braid in mercerized cotton or rayon. Question number 4. It is known as shirring, which consists of 3 or more rows of gather. A. Embroidery, B. Gather, C. Loop, D. Ribbon. Question number 4. It is known as shirring, which consists of 3 or more rows of gather. A. Embroidery, B. Gather, C. Loop, D. Ribbon. Question number 5. Which of the following items below is a group of accessories? A. Bands, bracelet, fan, hat, hosiery. B. Collar, frog, pocket, ribbon, ruffles. C. Applique, binding, brooch, hosiery, shoes. D. Bracelet, embroidery, hat, pocket, scallop. Question number 5. Which of the following items below is a group of accessories? A. Bands, bracelet, fan, hat, hosiery. B. Collar, frog, pocket, ribbon, ruffles. C. Applique, binding, brooch, hosiery, shoes. D. Bracelet, embroidery, hat, pocket, scallop. Let's check your answers. Number 1, C. Number 2, D. Number 3, B. Number 4, B. And number 5, A. How many get 5? Very good. How about 3 up? Good. You did a great job. This time, we'll make things happen by applying our learned knowledge by performing the activity. For your activity, let's play dress up. Number 1, dress yourself and wear any accessories that you think can make you beautiful. Number 2, take a photo of yourself and print. Number 3, list the accessories that you wear. And number 4, describe how you feel while wearing the accessories. Why? So there you go. Another exciting lesson in TLE 9 dressmaking that you have learned today. Always tune in to Radio Z-Eskwela 88.5 for the next motivating lesson. Until then, this is Cora R. Benedicto and Wilcor Sita Uni. Remember, it's not how much we teach, but how much we put love into teaching. See you next lesson!
Radyo Z-Eskwela Executive and Technical Working Committee. The School's Division Superintendent, Euphemia T. Gamutin Seso 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romel R. Handayan. Curriculum Implementation Division OIC Chief, Dr. Arlene B. Lin. School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Program Director, Dr. Arlene B. Lin. Assistant Program Director, Noemi P. Canales. Members, Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opena, Dr. Eldecris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Sikinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Dr. Renato N. Pakpakin, Dr. Andy P. Cabodok, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangit, Ryan Villanueva, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Daylan S. Milabat, Medard D. Apit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Production and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judiland T. U, Donna D. T. Bolifer, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen C. Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banyes. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Ranara, Joanne T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istaniol, Richard H. Arellano, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo C. Gutierrez Jr., Jade Karen R. Arais, Eliza May Garsuta, Sedi S. Caballero, and Jane S. Caballero. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here at Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Sugdata ang adlaw with a smile. Tune in na sa radio, in alive. Bisan na sa man good, listen to the music and it feels so good. Ay gundang ihangtod, napapuntagan pero lingaw man pod. Sa balay man o trabaho, bisan na sa man ka muadto. Giving you the best music, diri lang sa Z Radio. Kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawan na probinsya, Z Radio. Sa Bulawan na Pasibya, Z Radio. Kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawan na probinsya, Z Radio. Sa Bulawan na Pasibya, Z Radio. Don't stop. Sa Z Radio, tagaan mong lingaw. Kay giving you the best music and everything, that's what make us proud. So turn your radio up, don't stop. Chillin' while tune in sa radio. All day, all night, diri lang sa Z Radio. Bisan o gasa pa ka padulong, sa balay man o trabaho. Giving you the best music and everything, diri lang sa Z Radio. Kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawan na probinsya, Z Radio. Sa Bulawan na Pasibya, Z Radio. Kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawan na probinsya, Z Radio. Sa Bulawan na Pasibya, Z Radio. Kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawan na probinsya, Z Radio. Sa Bulawan na Pasibya, Z Radio. Kay ang adlaw siguradong lingaw, dili magpaulahi kay siguradong tuyaw. Para sa Bulawan na probinsya, Z Radio. Sa Bulawan na Pasibya, Z Radio.
Ang programang maghatod og good vibes ug mga inspirasyon sa matag pamilya, kauban si Mari Vice Governor Maricar Zamora. Saire Mare, paminaw kada Martes alas 8 hangtod alas 10 sa buntag. Saire Mare sa Z Radio 88.5. Siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw. Saire Mare. Hisgot Panglawas. Programang maghatod kaninyo sa mga impormasyon mahitungod sa hisgutanang panglawas. Kauban ng atong mga eksperto. Paminaw matag Huwebes, alas 8 hangtod alas 9 sa buntag. Diri lang sa Z Radio 88.5. Siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw. Hisgot Panglawas. Makisayod sa hisgutanang kalinaw alang sa kalabuan sa atong komunidad. Kalinaw para sa kalambuan. Paminaw kada Biyernes alas 9 hangtod alas 10 sa buntag. Kalinaw para sa kalambuan. Diri lang sa Z Radio 88.5. Siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Sabay-sabay na babangon, sama-samang ahon, ihanda ang sarili sa hamon. sa pagsulong sa kinabukasan ng katuon para sa di kalidad na edukasyon.
Palig-eskwela na naman, isa puso ang kahandaan. Handang isip, handa bukas, sa pagkakaisa ay may lakas.
Ito na ang new normal, online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face-to-face, gamit ang cellphone at radio base. Yakapin ang pagbabago, pahirapan, kaya natin to. Lakasan ng iyong loob, sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Kristiyano katutubo, isang hanggaring san patungo. Ipagpatuloy pag-aaral mo, tagumpay ay naghihintay sa'yo.
Balik-eskwela na naman, isa puso ang kahandaan. Handang isip, handa bukas, sa pagkakaisa ay may lakas.
Ito na ang new normal, online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face-to-face, gamit ang cellphone at radio base. Yakapin ang pagbabago, pahirapan, kaya natin to. Lakasan ng iyong loob, sa bagong normal, sa bagong
Isang
mundo.
alang-alang natin ang ating kaligtasan, sa bawat oras at panahon, magpakailanman. Hangat palagi ng ating paaralan, ang matuto, gayon din maging ligtas ang kabataan. Tayo ay magkaisa, halina't sama-sama, kasali lahat, kasama lahat, para sa lahat. Pilipinas, maghanda ka na, balik-eskwela na, tara. Tayong lahat, sabay-sabay,
Pagkakaisa ay may lakas. Ito na ang new normal, online learning at modular. Di na kailangang mag-face-to-face, gamit ang cellphone at radio base. Yakapin ang pagbabago, pahirapan, kaya natin to. Lakasan ng iyong loob, sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo. Sa bagong normal, sa bagong mundo.
Katambalan ng pag-ahon, isang bansang puso ay pinag-iisa.
Nang dikiing, lahat tayo'y uunlad at aangat.
Yan tayo, kabrigada, diwa ng bayanihan, atin ang nagkasimula. Man ang mararating, mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayani kabrigada, lahat ang ikayang gawin, bigat ay kayang buhatin. Ito ang pusong brigada, paalala ay pinapaganda. Pusong brigada, eskwela, walang iwanan tayo.
Paaralan, tinatawag na tahanan.
Aalagaan, patuloy pagyamanin, kulay at tinig, panatilihin natin.
Ito lang,
Kapit lang,
sama-sama,
walang iwanan.
mananatiling magkasangga.
Langit ay kakampirin natin, ano man ang mararating. Mananatiling tayo ay magkasangga. Dahil sa tuwing kasama ka, kabayani ka brigada, lahat ay kayang gawin, bigat ay kayang buhatin. Pusong brigada, eskwela, wala tayo. Walang iwanan tayo. Laging handa. Laging handa. Baha, tagtuyot, sunog, lindol, bagyo, mga kalamidad na likas sa ating mundo. Napapahamak ang buhay at kabuhayan, kaya naman kailangan ngang paghandaan.
Maging handa, maging alerto, tungkulin to ng bawat mamamayan. Kaya tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat na maging laging handa. Tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat na maging laging handa. Laging handa.
Kalamidad ay maaasahang darating.
Sa di inaasahang oras,
Kaya naman hindi na dapat hintayin. Unahan na habang di pa natataranta.
maging handa, maging alerto, tungkulin to ng bawat mamamayan. Kaya tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat na maging laging handa. Tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat na maging laging handa.
Suriin mo mabuti ang iyong kapaligiran. Saan ka ba nakatira? Diyan ba ay bumabaha? Tuwing gamot pagkain, kumot pang sindi, first aid kit, mga gamit panligtas ng buhay dapat mabitbit. At sakaling lumindol o sumabog ang bulkan, meron bang matagdaanan palayo sa kasawian? Panahon na ay malupit at ang hangin hagupit. Mabuti na lang na tayo ay laging nakahanda.
Tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat na maging laging handa. Tara na, kilos na, lika na, tumulong tayo. Gawin na po ang karapat-dapat na maging laging handa.
This message was brought to you by the Department of Education with the support of World Vision Development Foundation.
Hoy, tara, magklase na ta! Tara, tara! Sige, sige! Let's go!
Kunin na ang radyo, hanapin ang Z-Radio. Halika na at makinig, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig, matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhang bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela. Umulan man umaraw, edukasyo'y susulong. Kaya halika na, mag-aaral tayo!
Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhang bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela.
Handog ng DepEd Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya!
Let's go!
Nakikinig pa rin po kayo dito sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Tapos Teacher JL.
And I am Teacher Donna.
Oras natin mga ka-Z-Eskwela, it's exactly 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Time check is brought to us by Mackenzie Builders and also brought to us by Mitch Construction and Supply. We're done with our first lesson presentation for the second half of today's edition of Radyo Z-Eskwela. That's Sir Wilcor C. Tayone and Ma'am Cora R. Benedicto. That's grade 9 Technology and Livelihood Education. That's selecting measuring instrument in electronic products assembly. Teacher Donna.
Yes.
Right, before tayo pumunta sa ikalawang lesson presentation natin, Teacher Donna, just saying happy listening to the people of Monte Vista, especially CVSE Monte Vista Campus. Josme B. Lomiged. Ayan. Correct me if I'm wrong, ha? Right, so we're saying hello also to April Joy Tangcogo Amosora. Then salamat sa pagmaminaw. Hello to Annalyn Cagadas, Ma'am Angel May Diamante from BSE 1E Main Campus. Is that CVSE? Then salamat sa pagmaminaw. Ma'am Josephine Sumabal Gasang, thank you very much. Neddy Ann Lopez Sahulga and Mary G. Rimulta, hello everyone, happy learning, right? Thank you so much sa inyong pagpaminaw. You can do the same too, guys. Naka-live pa rin po tayo sa ating tatlong Facebook pages. That's Facebook Live at Z Radio 88.5 FM, DepEd Tayo Division of Davao de Oro, and Radyo Z-Eskwela, DepEd Davao de Oro. So, Teacher Donna, we're going to have our next lesson now.
Yes, Teacher JL. And para sa ating huling presentasyon, no? So, yung ating mga learners, please don't forget to fill out the attendance link. That's https://tinyurl.com/radyo-z-eskwela May 20. At nandyan din yan sa ating status section sa ating Facebook Live. Yes, Teacher JL, we will be having grade 10, no? Technology and Livelihood Education to be presented by Sir Wilfredo Takasan, Master Teacher 2 from Magnaga National High School, along with his Creative Resource Material Developer, Sir Mark Louis Cartagena, Teacher 1, still from Magnaga National High School. And we will be talking for grade 10 TLE, preparing sponge and cakes.
Right, kaya mga ka-Z-Eskwela, time to level up your skills on this Skill Sighting Thursday as you learn the crafts in cookery, computer servicing, as well as learning new lessons in social sciences with our content presenters, Wilfredo Takasan, and our creative resource material developer, Mark Louis Cartagena. That's grade 10 Technology and Livelihood Education. Kaya,
tara na, magklase na ta!
Good day, grade 9 learners. How are you today? Are you excited for our new lesson? Great! But before that, allow me to introduce myself as your radio presenter for this hour. I am Wilfredo Takasan from Magnaga National High School and will give you information about preparing sponge and cakes. Again, I will be giving you information about preparing sponge and cake. So what are you waiting for? Learners, get your notebook and ball pen and let's get started. This morning for TLE 9, bread and pastry, we will be talking about preparing sponge and cakes. Again, we will be preparing sponge and cake. At the end of this module, you should be able to first, select measure and weigh ingredients according to recipe requirements, enterprise practices, and customer practices. Second, select required oven temperature to bake goods following the desired characteristic, standard recipe specifications, and enterprise practices. Third, prepare sponges and cakes based on recipe specifications, techniques and conditions, and desired product characteristics. Fourth, use appropriate equipment according to required pastry and bakery products and standard operating procedure. And finally, cool the sponges and cakes according to established standards and procedure. Before rolling the bowl, let us try to answer this simple quiz. This is a multiple choice. Are you ready? Okay. Question number 1. You just choose the letter of the best answer. Number 1. Which of the following contains less than 5% of fats? Again, which of the following contains less than 5% of fats? A. Butter type cake. B. Foam type cake. C. Chiffon cake. D. Modified sponge cake. Again, A. Butter type cake. B. Foam type cake. C. Chiffon cake. D. Modified sponge cake. Question number 2. Which method of portioning is done with the use of a food scale? Which method of portioning is done with the use of a food scale? A. Counting. B. Measuring. C. Cutting. D. Weighing. Again, the choices are A. Counting. B. Measuring. C. Cutting. D. Weighing. Question number 3. It refers to a method of dividing the cake into uniform pieces before serving. Again, it refers to a method of dividing the cake into uniform pieces before serving. The choices are A. Counting. B. Measuring. C. Cutting. D. Weighing. Again, A. Counting. B. Measuring. C. Cutting. D. Weighing. Question number 4. How do you remove sticky ingredients from the side of the mixing bowl? How do you remove sticky ingredients from the side of the mixing bowl? A. By picking using a tablespoon. B. By scraping using a wire whisk. C. By scraping using a rubber scraper. Or D. By scraping using a wooden spoon. Again, the choices are A. By picking using a tablespoon. B. By scraping using a wire whisk. C. By scraping using a rubber scraper. Or D. By scraping using a wooden spoon. Question number 5. Which of the following baking tool is used for scraping excess baking mixture? Which of the following baking tool is used for scraping excess baking mixture? A. Spoon. B. Rubber scraper. C. Spatula. D. Wooden spoon. Again, A. Spoon. B. Rubber scraper. C. Spatula. D. Wooden spoon. Question number 6. What sweet-soluble organic compound belongs to the carbohydrate group of foods? What sweet-soluble organic compound belongs to the carbohydrate group of foods? A. Flour. B. Shortening. C. Milk. D. Sugar. Again, A. Flour. B. Shortening. C. Milk. D. Sugar. Question number 7. What tool is usually made of transparent and heat-proof glass to easily measure solution? What tool is usually made of transparent and heat-proof glass to easily measure solution? The choices are A. Measuring cup for liquid. D. Measuring cup spoon. Again, A. Measuring cup for dry. B. Weighing scale. C. Measuring cup for liquid. D. Measuring cups spoon. Question number 8. What is a kind of packaging material that is extremely absorbent and easily broken? What is a kind of packaging material that is extremely absorbent and easily broken? A. Glass. B. Wood. C. Paper. D. Plastic. A. Glass. B. Wood. C. Paper. D. Plastic. Question number 9. After baking, which of the following is the cause of the poor volume of cake? Again, after baking, which of the following is the cause of the poor volume of cake? A. Too much sugar, too much liquid. B. Too much flour, too little leavening. C. Too little flour, too much liquid, too little leavening, oven too heat. D. Too much flour and too much little liquid, improper mixing, oven too hot. Again, the choices are too much sugar, too much liquid. B. Too much flour, too much little leavening. C. Too much little flour, too much liquid, too little leavening, oven too hot. D. Too much flour and too little liquid, improper mixing, oven too hot. And last question. This type of cake contains a high percentage of fat or shortening. This type of cake contains a high percentage of fat or shortening. A. Shortened cake. B. Foam type cake. C. Modified sponge cake. D. Unshortened cake. A. Shortened cake. B. Foam type cake. C. Modified sponge cake. D. Unshortened cake. Okay, let us now check your answers using these K answers. For number 1, the answer is letter B. Who got it right? Yes, very good. For question number 2, the answer is letter D. Yes, everybody got the correct answer. For number 3, the answer is letter C. Who got the correct answer? Very good. Everybody got the correct answer. For number 4, the answer is letter B. Who got the answer for question number 4? Very good. Question number 5, the answer is letter V. I guess everybody got the correct answer. Yes, very good. Number 6, the answer is letter D. Oh yes, very good. Number 7, the answer is letter C. Correct, letter C. For number 8, the answer is, yes, letter C. Number 9 is letter B, and number 10 is letter A.
Before we continue our discussion, let's have a short break.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
At this time, let us start our discussion by knowing the different culinary terms. Again, culinary terms. So these are the different terms used in making or preparing sponge and cakes. The first term is angel food cake. Angel food cake is a type of cake made of meringue and flour. Again, angel food cake is a type of cake made of meringue and flour. Second term is appropriate, meaning suitable or proper under the given circumstances. The third term is assembling or fitting together the parts of a certain dish or food. Bake cooked food in a dry heat method inside an oven. Butter. Butter is a semi-liquid mixture of one or more flours combined with liquid such as water, milk, or eggs used to prepare various foods. Again, butter is a semi-liquid mixture of one or more flours combined with liquids such as water, milk, or eggs used to prepare various foods. Next term is beating. Beating is introducing air into the mixture through mechanical agitation, as in beating eggs. Blend is to combine ingredients and produce a homogeneous mixture. Again, blend is to combine ingredients and produce a homogeneous mixture. Boiled icing, another term, is an Italian meringue used as cake icing. Again, boiled icing is an Italian meringue is used as cake icing. Brown sugar is a regular granulated sucrose containing various impurities that give a distinctive flavor. Another one, cake flour. When you say cake flour, it is a fine white flour made from soft wheat. Again, cake flour is a fine white flour made from soft wheat. Next culinary term is chemical leavener. Chemical leavener is a leavener such as baking soda, baking powder, or baking ammonia, which releases gases produced by chemical reactions. Next on the list, chiffon cake. Chiffon cake is a light cake made following Chiffon Method, cake mixing method involving the folding. Cocoa powder. Cocoa powder is a powder or a dry powder made from ground cocoa solids. Confectioner sugar. It is a sucrose ground into a fine powder and mixed with a little cornstarch to prevent caking. Again, confectioner sugar is a sucrose ground into a fine powder and mixed with a little cornstarch to prevent caking. Consistency is the way in which a certain substance, typically liquid, holds together or thickness or viscosity. Again, consistency, it is the way in which a certain substance, typically liquid, holds together, or thickness or viscosity. Creaming is another culinary term which means rubbing butter and sugar until light and fluffy. Creaming method is a mixing method that begins with blending of fat and sugar used for cakes, cookies, and similar items. Dark chocolate is a sweetened chocolate consists of chocolate liquor and sugar. Dust is to sprinkle the surface with flour to avoid the mixture sticking on it. Foaming is a continuously baked egg white to incorporate until it becomes light and fluffy. So again, foaming is to continuously beat egg white to incorporate air until it becomes light and fluffy. Garnishing is to decorate or embellish something, specially food. Again, garnishing is to decorate or embellish something, specially food. Granulated sugar. It is a sucrose in a fine crystalline form. Grease brass pan with shortening. Grease is to brush pan with shortening. Again, grease is to brush pan with shortening. Preheat is to heat the oven before baking to achieve the required heat. Scrape is to remove sticky ingredients from the side of the mixing bowl. Sift is a culinary term which is to pass the flour through the sieves to make it finer and light. Sponge is a batter or dough of yeast, flour, and water that is allowed to ferment and is then mixed with more flour and other ingredients to make a bread dough. Turntable is a pedestal with a flat, rotating top used for holding cakes while they are being decorated. Whip is to beat rapidly and continuously to aid incorporation of air as a whipping egg whites to make meringue in cream. Those are the different culinary terms, and I guess, learner, you get it all. Now let's proceed to measuring ingredients. First is for dry ingredients. Under dry ingredients, we have number 1, flour. Sift the flour to remove lumps and scoop it to fill the measuring cup until it overflows. Do not shake the measuring cup but level the flour with a spatula or the edge of a knife. That is for flour. For baking powder and baking soda, remove the lumps by stirring. Dip the measuring spoon into the powder or scoop the baking powder or baking soda, then level it off with a spatula. Powdered milk. Remove the lumps by stirring. Scoop lightly to fill the measuring cup without shaking until it overflows. Use the spatula or the straight edge of a knife to level the measurement. That is for powdered milk. And for white sugar, still under dry ingredients, sieving is not necessary unless it is lumpy. Fill the measuring cup or scoop the sugar until it overflows. Do not shake the measuring cup but level the sugar with a spatula or the edge of a knife. For brown sugar, roll out the lumps, remove the dirt, and pack into the measuring cup until the sugar follows the shape of cup when inverted. When removed from the measuring cup, the brown sugar will be molded into the shape of the cup. Now let's proceed to liquid ingredients. A liquid measuring cup is used to measure large quantities of liquids. So, okay, you have to set the cup on a level surface. Never lift the cup with pouring the liquid. Then read the scale from the side of the cup. For solid fats, fill the measuring cup with shortening and press down until it is full. Level the fat with a spatula or the edge of a knife. So what is a portion control? When we say portion control, it means getting the right number of servings from a recipe and serving the right amount. It requires following the standard or the standardized recipes exactly. These are the importance of portion control. First, it provides the correct serving size to meet the nutritional needs. Again, it provides the correct serving size to meet the nutritional needs. Second, it helps control costs. Again, it helps control costs. Then the third one, it helps minimize waste. It helps also guide the ordering and preparation of food. That is for number 4. For the fifth importance, it is a contributing factor in giving a consistent yield and portion size. Then, customers know exactly how much food to expect. Then for number 7, customers get the same portion size. Those are the importance of the portion control. Let's proceed to methods of portion control. So there are several methods used for portion control. The first one is cutting. When we say cutting, it is a method of dividing food into uniform pieces before it is placed on the serving line. Examples: sheet cakes, rolls, or brownies. That is for cutting. For next method, we have the weighing. When we say weighing, it is a method that makes use of a food scale to create portion based on weight. Again, it makes use of a food scale to create portion based on weight. For letter C, we have measuring. This is another method of a portion control wherein a method of portioning food on the serving line that involves the use of scopes or ladles. That is for measuring. Then for another method, which is counting, name or list the units of a group or collection one by one in order to determine the total numbers.
Before we continue our discussion, let's have a short break.
The Radyo Z-Eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
So those are the different methods. At this time, let's proceed to the different ingredients in cake. So these are the different cake ingredients. Of course, on the list, we have cake flour. Number 2, sugar. Sugar. There are effects of sugars in baking. So these are the following effects. Number 1, makes the color of the crust brown or richer. Number 2, improves the nutritional value, flavor, and aroma. Number 3, makes the cake tender. Number 4, contributes to the moisture content of cakes and gives the baked products longer shelf life. Fifth, act as a creaming agent. Sixth, sugar serve as a whipping aid to stabilize beaten egg form. So those are the effects. Another cake ingredient is the eggs. Eggs used as a thickening agent, binding agent, emulsifying agent, leavening agent, gives color, flavor, freshness, and nutritive value. Number 4, ingredients, shortening. It makes products tender and improve flavors, assist in gas retention, giving better volume and crust, prevents the cohesion of gluten, improves the aroma, color, and texture of baked products, improves the shelf life of baked products because of its moisture. Another cake ingredient is the leavening agent. Then the liquid ingredients. So those are the different ingredients for cake. Let's proceed to temperature. The use of temperature for different types of cakes. So we have several requirements in terms of temperature. For cupcake, we need 350 to 375 Fahrenheit, or that is 177 to 190 degrees Celsius, and that is 15 for 25 minutes. For layer cake, we need to have 350 to 375 Fahrenheit, or 177 or 190 for Celsius, which is 20 to 35 minutes. Again, for layer cake, we need 350 to 375 Fahrenheit, 177 to 190 Celsius, and 20 to 35 minutes. For loaf cake, that is 350 Fahrenheit or 177 degrees Celsius, 45 to 60 minutes. Then for the angel foods or the sponge, 350 or 177 temperature, the 350 for Fahrenheit and 177 for degrees Celsius, and it needs 50 to 60 minutes. Now let's proceed to the importance of preheating an oven. It is important to preheat your oven before baking. Baked items depend on the correct oven temperature to help them rise properly. All baked recipes are tested in preheated ovens. Place the oven racks at the proper levels first and then set the temperature stated in the recipe. So there are classifications of cakes. First, high fat or shortened cakes. It is a type of cake that contains a high percentage of fat or shortening. Again, when we say high fat or shortened cakes, it is a type of cake that contains a high percentage of fat or shortening. Another classification is the low fat or foam type cakes. It is also known as unshortened cake that contains less than 5% fat. Third, modified sponge cake. It is a combination of shortened cake and foam type. Now let's move on to baking tools and equipment. We need to know the different baking tools and equipment, especially in preparing sponge and cake. First on the list is the icing spatula. When we see icing spatula, it is used to apply and spread icing, frosting, and butter. We have also mixing bowl, a deep shallow dish used for mixing baking ingredients. Third is the rubber scraper. When you say rubber scraper, it is a flat tool used to scrape any mixture and collect every bit of the mixture out of a bowl. Liquid measuring cup. It is a transparent cup with lines called marker lines to indicate the volume of liquid. Size varies from 1/4 to 5 cups, or for volumes about 50 ml and above. Next is measuring cups. When we say measuring cups, it's a set of marked cups used to measure both liquid and dry ingredients. Measuring spoons. Set of spoons with the amount indicated in the handle used in measuring small amounts of ingredients less than 1/4 cup. Again, when we say measuring spoons, it is a set of spoons with the amount indicated in the handle used in measuring small amounts of ingredients less than 1/4 cup. Weighing scale. It is a device used in measuring ingredients. Again, when you say weighing scale, it is a device used in measuring ingredients. Cake pan. When you say cake pan, it is a container used in baking cakes. Then we have also cooling rack. Cooling rack is a layered tool made of wires with short legs used for cooling baked products. Shifter. It is a tool used to separate coarse particles of sugar and flour. Again, when you say shifter, it is a tool used to separate coarse particles of sugar and flour. Oven. Oven is an enclosed compartment used for baking. Another term is thermometer. It is a device used in monitoring the temperature of the oven. We have also parchment paper. Parchment paper is a waterproof and grease-resistant paper placed in the bottom of the pan. Those are the terms used in baking. Now let's proceed to mixing methods used for cakes. So there are several methods that we can use, especially in making our cakes. The first one is the creaming method. This is for shortened cakes. When you say creaming method, the creaming method, also called the conventional method, was for a long time the standard method for mixing high-fat cakes. The development of emulsified or high ratio shortenings led to the development of simpler mixing methods for shortened cakes containing greater amounts of sugar and liquid. Next is the two-stage method. The two-stage method, the name originated from the practice of adding the liquids are added into two stages. The first step in making high ratio cake is to blend the flour and the other dry ingredients with shortening. When this mixture is smooth, the liquids are added in stages. That is for two-stage method. Next is one stage, liquid shortening or the liquid shortening method. This method involves adding the liquid ingredients to the bowl first, which emulsifies the procedure. In this way, there is less chance for moistened flour to coat the bottom and side of the bowl, making scraping down difficult. Again, in this way, there is less chance for moistened flour to coat the bottom and side of the bowl, making scraping down difficult. Mix at low speed until dry ingredients are moistened. To prevent dry flour from being thrown from the bowl, then mix for a period at high speed followed by a period at medium speed to properly develop air cells and create smooth, fine texture batter. Another method used for cake is the flour butter method. The flour butter method is used for only a few specialty items. It produces a fine texture cake, but there may be some toughening due to development of gluten. Flour butter cakes includes those made with either emulsified shortening or butter or both. Sponge cake batter is made into two basic steps. First, eggs and sugar are whipped to a thick foam. Then second, sifted flour is folded in. Next is the angel food method. Angel food cakes are based on egg white foams and contain no fat. Angel food method should be whipped until they form soft, not stiff, peaks. Over-wet whites lose their capability to expand and to leave the cakes. This is because the protein network in stiffly beaten whites has already stretched as far as it can. If the whites are whipped to soft peaks, instead, they can stretch more during baking, then allowing the cake to rise. Another mixing methods used for cake is the chiffon method. Chiffon cakes and angel food cakes are both based on egg white foams, but here the similarities in the mixing methods end. In angel food cakes, a dry flour sugar mixture is folded into the egg whites. In the chiffon method, a batter containing flour, egg yolks, vegetable oil, and water is folded into the whites. Egg whites for chiffon cakes should be whipped until they are little firmer than those for angel food cakes, but not so much that they become dry. Again, egg whites for chiffon cakes should be whipped until they are little firmer than those for angel food cakes, but not so much that they become dry. Chiffon cakes contains baking powder, so they do not depend on the egg foam for all leavening. Those are the different mixing methods used for cakes. Now, let's go down to the basic steps in baking. First, read the recipe carefully to know if you have all the ingredients and the utensils needed and if you understand the entire procedure. Second, check all necessary ingredients, gather, and arrange them accordingly to the sequence of their preparation. Third, prepare all the utensils needed for measuring, mixing, and baking. Fourth, preheat the oven. Set the oven knob at the desired temperature. Fifth, prepare the pan or pans needed. Make sure to use the correct pan size. If it needs greasing, brushing the pan bottom with a little shortening. For baking purposes, do not use butter or margarine for greasing because this easily burn and will produce a very brown crust. Number 6, measure the ingredients using correct utensils according to the amounts required in the recipe. 7, mix the batter or dough with filling pans. Make sure you don't overfill. Fill about 2/3 full to give an allowance for the rising. 8, bake in the preheated oven. Put the pan on the center rack. 10. Number 9, test for doneness. For butter cakes, prick the center of the cake with a toothpick. If it comes out clean, then it is done. For chiffon cake and sponge cake, press lightly with fingers. If it springs back, then it is done. Pies and pastries are done when the crust have turned golden brown, crisp, and flaky. Number 10, cool the baked products. For butter cakes, put the pan on a wire rack and leave to cool for 10 minutes. Afterward, invert the pan to remove the cake and cool it completely. For sponge and chiffon cakes, invert pans at once in wire racks. Those are the basic steps in baking. So here are the common cake problems and their causes. It could be, number 1, volume and shape poor. Volume, too little flour, too much liquid, too little leavening, oven too hot. That is for volume and shape poor. For uneven shape, improper mixing, butter spread unevenly, uneven overheat, oven rack not level, cake pans warped. For crust too dark, that is too much sugar, oven too hot. Then another common cake problem, too light, because too little sugar and oven not hot enough. Then another one is burst and cracked. That is too much flour or flour too much strong, too little liquid, improper mixing, or oven too hot. Then soggy. Soggy, underbaked, cooling in pans or with not enough ventilation, wrapping before cooling. And for the texture, dense or heavy, too little leavening, too much liquid, too much sugar, too much shortening, oven not hot enough. For crumbly, too much leavening, too much shortening, too much sugar, wrong kind of flour, improper mixing. Then tough, flour too much or flour too strong, too much flour, too little sugar or shortening, or it could be over mixing. Okay, so we are done with the lesson with regards preparing sponge and cakes. Now, let us measure your understanding about the lesson. Let us answer this one. Match column E with appropriate words in column B. Then you're just going to write your answer on the sheet. Okay, are you ready? Okay, let's begin. So for column A, these are the questions. Number 1, fill the measuring cup with a shortening while pressing until it is full. Level the fat with spatula or the edge of a knife. And these are the choices for column B. A, liquid ingredients. B, solid fats. C, flour. D, baking powder or baking soda. Then E, white eggs. For question number 2, under column A, sift to remove lumps and scoop it to fill the measuring cup until it overflows. Do not shake the measuring cup but level it with a spatula or the edge of a knife. Then again, these are the choices for column B. A, liquid ingredients. B, solid fats. C, flour. D, baking powder and baking soda. E, white sugar. Question number 3. Sifting is not necessary unless if is lumpy. Fill the measuring cup or scoop until it overflows. Do not shake the measuring cup. Level up with spatula or the edge of a knife. The choices again are A, liquid ingredients. B, solid fats. C, flour. D, baking powder and baking soda. White sugar for letter E. For number 4, remove the lumps by stirring. Dip the measuring spoon, then level it off with a spatula. Choices are A, liquid ingredients. B, solid fats. C, flour. D, baking powder and baking soda. E, white sugar. Then for the last question, number 5, a graduated measuring cup is used. Set the cup on a level surface. Never lift the cup while measuring. Read the scale from the side of the cure. The choices are A, liquid ingredients. B, solid fats. C, flour. D, baking powder or baking soda. Then the white sugar. Okay, let us now check your answers. Okay, so these are the answer for our quiz. Letter A, we have letter B. Or number 1 is letter B. Number 2 is, yes, very good, F. Number 3 is letter E. Number 4 is A. And to complete it for number 5 is letter C. Again, number 1 is B. Number 2 is F. Number 3 is E. Number 4 is A. And number 5 is C. This ends our discussion for preparing sponge and cake. Always remember that together, it is always more fun and exciting to learn and explore the knowledge. This has been your radio presenter, again, Wilfredo Takasan from Magnaga National High School, leaving you a message to always keep safe and have learning fun.
Radyo Z-Eskwela Executive and Technical Working Committee. The school's Division Superintendent, Euphemia T. Gamutin Seso 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romel R. Handayan. Curriculum Implementation Division OIC Chief, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Program Director, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. Assistant Program Director, Noemi P. Canales. Members, Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opena, Dr. Eldecris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Sikinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Dr. Grace D. Pontillas, Dr. Renato N. Pakpakin, Dr. Andy P. Cabodok, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangit, Ryan Villanueva, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Daylan S. Milabat, Medard D. Apit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Production and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judilan T. Yu, Donna D. T. Bolifer, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen C. Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banyes. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Ranara, Joan T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istaniol, Richard H. Arellano, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo C. Gutierrez Jr., Jade Karen R. Arais, Eliza May Garsuta, Sedi S. Caballero, and Jane S. Caballero. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here at Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.
Tara! Sige! Let's go!
Kunin na ang radyo, hanapin ang Z-Radio. Halika na at makinig, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhang bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela. Umulan man umaraw, ganun nga siya'y susulong. Kaya halika na, mag-aaral tayo! Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, makinig matuto. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, may matutuhang bago. Sa Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela.
Handog ng DepEd Davao de Oro, Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya!
Let's go!
Nagbabalik po muli ang Radyo Z-Eskwela, siguradong masaya. Oras natin mga Z-Eskwela, 3 minutes na lang bago mag-alas 2 ng hapon. And that time check ay nihatid sa atin ng Metro Gear Construction Corporation and Mitch Construction and Supply. Kauban Gapon News Teacher JL.
And I am Teacher Donna.
Right, and bago tayo mag-say goodbye sa Teacher Donna, we're just saying hello to Ma'am Noemi Pernia Canales.
Yes.
Dahil salamat sa pagpaminaw, Ma'am Noemi, and siya ang atong Education Program Supervisor sa TLE, Teacher Donna. And hello also to, teka muna ha, Ma'am Dayan Cacho Onyes of Grade 10 Rizal Pantuca National High School. Hello also to Daisy, teka muna ha, where is it? Okay, Ray Halwag, ayan, of CVSE Main Campus, BSE 1E, right? And hello to Ma'am April Joy T. Amosora of BSE 1B CVSE Monte Vista. Thank you so much for watching. And also, we're saying hello to Shaina Dolero of Grade 10 Rizal Pantuca National High School, and Ma'am Lyra Pilapil Ibrahim of Grade 10 Rizal Pantuca National High School, Grace Kaliwan Hadukana, salamat sa pagpaminaw, and Mary G. Rimulta. Good afternoon everyone, have a happy heart. Ayan. Okay, so Teacher Donna, magpapaalam na tayo. Wala na tayong sapat na oras. And we will be back when?
Yes, magbabalik po kami ni Teacher JL bukas. Mula alas 10 ng umaga hanggang alas 12 po ng tanghali.
Right. Isa pong karangalan ang makapaglingkod sa inyo ngayong araw na ito. Ito po again, si Teacher JL.
And I am Teacher Donna, ang inyong teacher na biba.
Magpapaalam na po kami sa ngalan po ng bumubuo ng Radyo Z-Eskwela. Daghang salamat and dalago ng Diyos.
Bisan na sa man good, listen to the music and it feels so good. Ay gundang ihangtot, napapuntagan pero lingaw man pod. Sa balay man o trabaho, bisan na sa man ka mo adto. Giving you the best music, diri lang sa Z-Radio.